up, guys? Be right with you.
Venezuela. Did you just see Maduro? Venezuela. It's unbelievable. In Venezuela. Did you just see Maduro? Venezuela. It's unbelievable.
What's happening, guys? What's going on? Appreciate you once again for joining me. I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. It is the 4th of January, 2026, and I don't think we have anything to talk about. Nothing to discuss, really. I was kind of struggling, really, to find out, like, what the hell we could possibly talk about on this political podcast. Nothing going on, nothing in the news, so we're going to have to dig deep, I'm sure, here to try to find something to discuss on today's show. Of course, I'm being facetious. Of course, I'm kidding. I appreciate you guys once again for joining me. Hit that like button on the way in. Holy shit. What the fuck? I guess that's the proper reaction. But before we dive into all the craziness, what do you say? We say hi to the chat. Thank everybody for their loyalty, their friendship, and their support of the show. Thank you so much to all these beautiful people that you see right here on your screen. Dame, Karen, thank you so much. Sammy, how are you? What's going on, everybody? What's up, Ruben? What's up, Deb? How are you? What's up, Laurie? Hello to all the mods. Thank you so much, first and foremost, to everything that you do. What's up, Trina? What's up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. World Trader Haters, what's going on? Vicky, how are you? What's up, Victor? Hi, Laurie. Appreciate you. What's up, Mozart? Good to see you, man. Hi, Moms. What's going on, Nancy? Good to see you as always. Be kind and behave. I appreciate you. Be kind, have hope. I appreciate you guys. So hit that like button. And again, like I said, before we get into everything, I do have to make some sort of plea to everybody. I know the people that have been watching the show for a long time know that the self-promotional side of this show is not something that I am strongest at, nor something that I like doing. But I would just kind of ask you guys to, if you are in the financial position to do so, please contribute to the show. It would go a long way in helping both the show and me personally, not to get too deep into things, but there's a lot of stuff happening both inside of politics and outside of politics as well. So if you guys could find it and find it in your hearts to, again, in your wallets to come out of pocket with $1 or $2, either send it to the Venmo, anything above and beyond that's totally up to you guys. I don't ask for anything other than that, but situations arise and times ask, and needs are supposed to be met or need to be met. So I'm just kind of doing my best to kind of employ you to support independent creators. If it's not me, then it's somebody else. Support them. I really do appreciate you guys. You can sign up for a channel membership just underneath me here on YouTube. There's things on Twitch now you can do, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. I really do appreciate it. Not to mention that, but also patreon.com/Boston Brian. All right. So self-promotional bullshit out of the way. I really do appreciate you guys for suffering through that. It's hard for me to do. I don't know. It's going to be difficult to get used to, but I do appreciate you guys sticking through it. All right. Lots to discuss, lots to talk about. Obviously, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? The United States, once again, undertaking colonialism, imperialism, you name it. We'll call it that. And it's just, it's history repeating. I know everybody likes to say history doesn't repeat, but fuck that. History repeats. Okay. The same idiots making the same mistakes. We'll be going over a little bit of the reaction to it, some of what the Venezuelan vice president has said, some people seemingly inside the government that used their insider information, their insider knowledge to bet on, what's that stupid betting site, Kelshi or something like that? Somebody in the government made $400,000 betting on different random things, whether Nicolas Maduro would be out of Venezuela by a certain date, all on a brand new account, all with clearly inside information. And I'd like to see if we can dig into that and see who inside the government used their position to benefit, to profit from this thing, on that website, because there's a lot going on. Marco Rubio was also on with not only Kristen Welker, but I think he was on with Stephanopoulos as well. So we'll take a look at some of the shit that he's been saying, some of the bullshit that he's been saying. We'll take a look at now. Obviously, it's being reported that something over 40 people were killed in the attack. Not only that, but a large part of Maduro's security team was also killed in this action. So we get a lot to get into, a lot to discuss. Let me throw this on your screen so you guys can follow along with me. And again, this is just kind of to reiterate the ridiculous and asinine statements made by Donald Trump on this event. I mean, again, the kidnapping part, the incursion part is the easy part as far as this whole thing is concerned. Now the most difficult part is running. Like, again, check this out. Think out. I mean, I'm sure everybody's probably seen this up until this point, but how ridiculous is it to hear this? How crazy is it to hear this? The United States president saying that we're actively going to be running another sovereign territory. Another sovereign nation is going to be under the direct control of the United States. What are we doing? What are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Have we not learned our lesson? Have we not learned our lesson, the lessons learned from the past, and how this has gone horribly wrong almost in every single circumstance for not only the people of the country, but for the country in and of itself? But again, this is just a short clip of Donald Trump, only a minute 28, where he announces the literal takeover of Venezuela by the United States. And again, for historical references, to make sure that people don't forget about this moment, I just want to play this to make sure everybody's up to speed. Again, I'm sure you've already all seen this. I'm not, not like I'm breaking news here, but this is the comments made by the United States, by Donald Trump, talking about the intentions for Venezuela. And just tell me this isn't just wild to hear.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Try it again. He's going to say that sentence for the third time, and he still can't say judicious. Hey, judicious. Hey, judicious.
To be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the...
Now, just think of the irony in that one statement. Just think, we want peace, liberty, and justice. Meanwhile, we're talking about and looking at film of United States helicopters, United States drones, fucking troops being deployed from helicopters, 40-plus people being murdered, his security team being killed, right? And he's talking about peace, the president of peace, the America First president, right? Where's the America First crowd? Where is the president of peace crowd here? How do you guys lay your head on the pillow at night, knowing the shit that you guys espouse, but also the shit that you're willing to defend at the same time? America first. Oh, so what? So you don't think that we're going to be sending U.S. taxpayer money to Venezuela now? You're America first, but you don't mind that we're sending $40 billion to Argentina. You're America first, but you don't mind that we're now going to be sending U.S. taxpayer money to Venezuela to rebuild, their dilapidated oil fucking industry or whatever the fuck, right? That doesn't seem too America first to me. How can you call him the president of peace as we're looking at fucking, again, missile fire, rockets being fired into Caracas, one of the most populated areas on the fucking planet, right? The number of dead coming from this, the number of dead in the security team, the illegal action, what we know constitutes an act of war. I mean, that's another whole aspect of this. And we'll listen to Marco Rubio in his interviews with both Kristen Welker and Stephanopoulos, where he's directly asked, what are the fucking legal ramifications? What are the legal justifications that you have in order to enact this, in order to take over Venezuela? And he can't say, because there is no legal justification. There is no legal basis for this, right? An act of war. Oh, Jesus. Like, I know we've already done this on the show, and it fucking pisses me off, but all right, UN Charter. 2-4. There you go, right there. All right, so I'll throw this up on your screen. All right, so make sure everybody can see this. I'm going to blow it up just a little bit just to make sure that we're not. All right, so everybody can see that. Everybody can see that nice and clear. All right. UN Charter, Article 2, Section 4 is a fundamental principle of international law stating that all UN members must refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state or in any manner inconsistent with the UN's purposes. This prohibits unilateral aggression, with the main exceptions being inherent right to self-defense and actions authorized by the UN Security Council under Chapter 7. And this goes on to talk about what constitutes an act of war, bans threats. Let's see here. Applications, violations, acts like Russia's invasions of Ukraine are a great example and are widely seen as clear violations. And again, that brings up another point. How are we supposed to have moral like clarity? How are we supposed to have like moral superiority over Russia? How are we now supposed to expect to tell them not to invade another sovereign territory, right? How are we supposed to expect to have moral authority over China and expect to tell them not to invade Taiwan like they've been wanting to do? So this looks like it just gave tacit permission to all of the worst people in the world to enact all of the fucking worst plans that they've been waiting to enact for quite some time now. And now it seems like they have the go-ahead, seemingly, by the United States to do, and then excuse it in any way they see any way they see fit. Let's see here. Act of war. Excuse me. See here. Yeah, bedrock. This gives like specific actions, broad actions, not just traditional warfare, though debate continues over what constitutes force, especially regarding economic coercion and cyber attacks. That's not what we're talking about here, though. Prohibition force states must refrain from using or threatening military force, aggression, or coercion. The prohibition covers actions that violate a state's sovereignty, territorial integrity, political independence, relationship to active war, broader than the active war, a broader term of war, meaning any actions that aren't declared wars, like border incursions, like what we saw, kidnappings, like what we saw, or supporting rebels can still violate the article. So again, just to make it extremely clear on what the actual definitional use of the active war is exactly what you just saw, violating the territorial borders of a nation to go kidnap their president and first lady is absolutely something that qualifies as an act of war. Right? Marco Rubio is trying to call this like, what's he calling it? Like a law enforcement action. I'm paraphrasing, but that's like what he's trying to get this across. Like we're just doing some police action, even though the Republicans are 100,000% totally against the fact that the United States is known as the world police. Right? Isn't that something that you've heard from them? They don't want to be the world police. They don't want to be involved in all these foreign affairs. They don't want to have to spend money, going and dealing with other countries that they can't understand the language they're speaking. We shouldn't be the world police. The system set up after World War II is shit. This all coming from the Republicans. But now all of a sudden they're fucking peachy keen. They're all set with being the world police and going and firing fucking rockets into Caracas, killing 40 people and kidnapping the first lady and the president. They're okay with that now. That's all set. That's all set. That's something that they're willing to fucking put up with. But again, they don't want to be the world police. They don't want that to happen. And again, just in case, let me throw this up on the screen because this is just a little bit of a kind of a compilation of some of the footage coming from it. And again, I'm sure some of you have seen a lot of this already, but I have seen that a lot of people have coming back from vacation or whatnot, haven't been up to speed or up to date on what's been going on. So just to kind of get everybody on the same page, this is Venezuela update, geolocation of helicopter landing, satellite imagery, and destroyed vehicles. So this will tell you kind of where Maduro was hiding, where he tried to get to into his underground bunker, kind of the tactics used by the United States in order to get him out of there. And then we'll dive on to, because I definitely want to take a look at not only the death count stemming from this, but also the insider trading that allowed somebody in the U.S. government to profit almost $500,000 from this action. And again, this was a brand new account made. I think it was either the night before or 2 days before this happened. So fucking fishy. The smell of fish is in the air, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. So let's dive into this real quick. And again, we don't have to sit through this whole entire video. This is 11 minutes long, and this is posted by, I never get this name right. I always say it wrong. Sukakamis. It's posted by Sukakamis. So check out his channel. He's got about 315,000 subscribers, and he's getting into the Venezuela attack. Let's get into it.
Take a last look at America's 3-hour special military operation to capture Maduro. As some of the key spots have been geolocated, which you can take a look at, we also have some satellite imagery and also some aftermath videos and photos which show some of the vehicles hit by the US here and destroyed, which are worth taking a look at. Now, the video playing now you have all seen by now, showing US Chinook helicopters flying overhead with multiple targets burning in the area. But what may have been missed here is that it also shows a solitary helicopter landing. This was spotted by Cope Shaw on Twitter,
So basically, this is the footage that everybody's talking about. It shows the Chinook helicopters flying by. What he's pointing out is there's a single helicopter that you can see in this footage. It's a little tough to see because of how dark the footage is, but you can make out a single helicopter actually landing, and then he's going to describe what the actions of that specific helicopter were.
the OSINT page, and it's shown in this screenshot here. Now, before I show where this landed, let's get orientated. This isn't at Maduro's palace as originally thought, but was a bunker in the hills.
So this is Maduro's bunker that he intentionally or allegedly tried to make it into. As you can see here, it's an underground. You can see the route kind of going into it. And what he's going to show is that helicopter that you can see on that video lands pretty much smack dab on the fucking entrance of this. So clearly they knew exactly where it was. Clearly they knew exactly where the entrance was. This was obviously pre-planned out to a T to know exactly where he would go in the event of this action being undertaken.
Here is one of the entrances to Maduro's bunker.
Thank you so much. Who is that? Who is that? Oh, thank you, Frida. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Thank you, Gen 2, but hold on. Thank you, Frida, so much. Let's make this a year to remember. Glad you are here, Brian. I appreciate that so much, Frida. I really do. Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you so much for being here. I know it sucks to have to ask people to come out of pocket to support channels like this, but that's just the nature of the beast. I do apologize for that. I hate it, but thank you so much to everybody that does contribute. It means a lot.
Shown on Google Maps imagery. And here, the entrance to the same bunker, further south. This is in the Fuerte Tiuna area, which you can see.
So this is the more broader area of where he's looking at now, just to kind of get you affiliated with the geography.
It's pretty much a diagonal line from each other, these two bunker entrances. So Maduro's bunker where he was captured was underground between the 2 points here, which ties in with that poor quality screenshot of a helicopter landing during the strikes, because that was geolocated.
So you can see here on the screen, sorry, just in case it's not too immediately fucking apparent. This yellow dot right here that you're seeing on the middle of the screen is where that helicopter landed. And then you can see that on the either side of this, I believe that second blue one is the bunker. And then they're talking about the entrance is somewhere in between that blue dot and the yellow dot. So basically the helicopter landed directly smack on top of the fucking bunker, knowing exactly where he was going to go.
Picture on Twitter as landing in the area of the yellow marker near one of the bunker entrances.
Right here.
This is what looks to be a large baseball field near the bunker.
Here it is.
So America
this
looks
is a more close-up picture, as you can see. So the bunker where the helicopter landed in a baseball field. I'd say, fucking 500 yards maybe. It's tough to tell from this angle, but I'd say probably 300 to 500 yards from the bunker. So pretty much right on top of it. Don't have far to go. I'm not sure if this is the act in which they took out the Maduro security force. I would assume it to be, but I have not heard any confirmation on what direct action led to Maduro security force being taken out, whether that happened before or afterwards. I have not confirmed yet, so I won't put that information out there. But I can confirm that his security detail was killed, and over 40 people were killed in this action, as been reported by the New York Times, which we'll take a look at in just a minute.
They landed here and raided this entrance to the bunker. This is the northern entrance to the bunker system. The southern entrance, there's no such landing zones here visible, and we don't have any video from here, so I don't know if the US managed to put troops on the ground in this area too, or maybe just had helicopters covering it in case Maduro made a run for it from here. Now, the next geolocation and map was done by John Marquis on Twitter. So this shows the area of the strikes which we saw in the video. So you can see they're hitting the buildings and the hills all around the compound and the route that the helicopters were taking. So, interestingly, the helicopters here were flying north, not south as expected. I will add this roughly to our map with the bunker entrances shown to make it easy to get orientated with. You can see where exactly it took place in relation to the bunkers. So the burning targets, presumably here, hitting the barracks and the buildings used by the soldiers guarding this bunker, was all in the red area, and the Chinooks flying
So basically,
north.
that's what he's talking about. The attack area was basically circled here in red. There was one more of these little updates in the maps that I wanted to get into of the footage here. I think it was this one.
Bunker entrance. Here's a photo of it shared online by Venezuelan sources, showing that it's now been destroyed.
Yeah. So this is the entrance to the bunker that's now been destroyed. This is the picture that I saw going around. I think this is on Telegram or one of those being circulated out there. But this is now what it looks like. That same bunker area. And I think I want to say it would be to the left is where that, or directly behind us as far as where this picture is taken, would be where that helicopter landed. just to kind of give you a visual reference of the area, of the terrain surrounding that.
Presumably, the US destroyed the entrance after capturing Maduro and leaving, unless, of course, the main insertion was done at the southern entrance, and this was destroyed by troops from the helicopter we saw landing here, purely to
And then
block
there
off
was
the
one
entrance.
more as well, which was just so we can fly by this one. Yeah, there's just a couple more pictures there coming out of this one.
So here, firstly, a Kamaz truck and a pair of Norinco Lynx ATVs. The Lynx may look a bit goofy, but they are quite interesting, and these can actually be fitted with different weaponry to make a light, very mobile weapon system. There are variants fitted with mortar systems.
So
and
just, showing more of the equipment taken out by U.S. troops, more of the strikes here. As you can see, again, we'll just kind of fly by it. I don't want to take up too much time with this. I'm sure you guys will be seeing these pictures all over the internet as it goes anyway. But yeah, these, I'm sure more and more will be coming up. More and more videos are coming up. You can see barracks and like there are reports of now Maduro, different Maduro supporters going around and, kind of trying to stir shit up already. Like we thought, a lot of people, I just want to say, a lot of people are using the videos and the elation and the freedom, right, that is being shown by the, some of the Venezuelan population, some of the people that were absolutely oppressed and violated by Nicolas Maduro. Nicolas Maduro was an absolutely horrendous person, is a horrendous person, right? He was a dictator. He was an authoritarian. He was an illegitimate ruler. He fucking raped, pillaged, and plundered his fucking own country. He disappeared people in his own country. He killed people in his own country. The worst of the worst. I mean, terrible guy. But again, that does not justify the actions of the United States. That does not make this a legal move. That does not justify, skirting around Congress. That does not justify killing 40 plus Venezuelans. That doesn't justify killing his security staff. None of that. So two things obviously can be true at the same time. Maduro, absolute fucking asshole, maniacal fucking dictator, a horrible leader, hated by a lot of the people in his country, rightfully so. Absolutely. But historically speaking, one other thing that I'd like to point out is this as well. And if I could put this on your screen, just to kind of remind you of what we've gone through in the past and kind of how that relates to now, I would like to point out that directly after the arrest of Saddam Hussein, the Iraqi population, the Iraqi people were also celebrating that, right? They were also in the streets celebrating and cheering and clapping for the removal of this person that has been, killing people in their families, has been sending people to remote parts of the country to work in labor camps and to disappear them, right? So that freedom that these people feel now, I will not step on, I will not fucking curtail for anything. I just say beware of what you wish for. Right? Sometimes the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. And historically speaking, looking at what we have done in the past, it has not come out to the best benefit or on the best behalf of the country that this has happened to. So again, this is just a short clip depicting the reaction from the Iraqi citizens after the arrest of Saddam Hussein, and then put that in what we know happened to the Iraqi fucking country and to the Iraqi citizens after that. I think they'd rightfully take back the celebrations to have a fully functioning and independent country, if you see what I mean, right? So again, the sound on this isn't too great, but you can get the gist of it. You can see the celebrations going on, the elation by the people. Right? And again, this is 2003 after the arrest of Saddam Hussein. They for a split second had this fucking feeling of hope and prosperity and like they were free, right? But then it turned very quickly into something that they weren't anticipating, right? Into death, destruction, the degradation of their country. So again, I just say there's very similar fucking videos coming out from Venezuelans in the United States, from Venezuelans in Venezuela. But let's not forget that there are absolutely still pro-Maduro people in Venezuela, whether it's fucking military forces, whether it's paramilitary forces, right? There are absolutely still bad actors Again, the vice president. Let's see if we can. We'll get into it afterwards. But the vice president of Venezuela, who has been sworn in, already calling for the release of Maduro, calling calling the actions of the United States, an act of war. Right. So it's like there are still people within that country that do have the back of Maduro. Maybe not a lot, but they are still absolutely surrounded within people in power, right? So Maduro surrounded himself, him being in power, surrounded himself by sycophants, by yes men, by people that support him, right? And again, his security team was killed, but you can guarantee that there's still people in high-profile positions that have money, that have power, that support Nicolas Maduro, that are not willing, that are not ready to see their country being taken over by the United States, or have an anti-Maduro leader installed. Right? They're just not going to roll over and be like, okay, that was great. We had our run, right? So this isn't going to be the cakewalk that we think it is. The easy part is the removal. The tough part is figuring out how to make this country successful. The next part is figuring out how to. The next part is the United States going to figure out how they can steal the oil profits, right? And not how they can take care of the Venezuelan population. That's the problem. We're going to be sending taxpayer money down there to rebuild the infrastructure, to rebuild the oil industry so that they could have justification to steal the majority of the profits. When they say, oh, it's U.S. taxpayer money and it's this company's money that went into rebuilding this pipeline, that went into rebuilding this factory or this oil refinery or that fucking plant or that bought all these new ships that they're now using. So we get the profit. Why would Venezuela get the profit? They didn't put the money in. So again, be careful of what you wish for. Again, I'm not going to stomp on anybody's freedom. I'm not going to say you can't be elated that, again, a brutal dictator is no longer brutally oppressing you or able to brutally oppress you. But again, just be careful what you wish for. The devil that you know is sometimes better than the devil that you don't know. You know what I mean? So you've basically just replaced Nicolas Maduro in him pillaging and plundering the profits of the oil industry and not doing what's best for the Venezuelan people, with the United States government led by Donald Trump now going to do the same thing, if not at an exponentially more fucking damaging rate. You see what's going on here? You see how that works? So again, you can't use, because there's a lot of videos going around that you guys will see like, oh, these are the libs. The libs are fucking pissed off. Meanwhile, these are the Venezuelans and they're all celebrating and shit. Great. There's a shitload of fucking people, rightfully so, like I said, that fucking couldn't stand Maduro, hated Maduro, wanted to see him out. And they're showing the elation of that happening. What they're not thinking about and what isn't being focused on right now is the future of the country and how it's going to look for the Venezuelan people. So I just say, beware. That's all I say is beware. That's all. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, like I say, I'm not going to say that you can't have your moment of happiness and joy. That's just not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to make you aware of the historical facts, the historical fucking references that we could point at, that we could fucking draw from to show us that this isn't going to go the way that you think it's going to go. Just putting that out there. And then let me just throw this on the screen as well, because this is what we were talking about. A large part of Maduro's security team killed in U.S. action, Venezuela defense minister says. This is a Reuters article. A large part of erstwhile President Nicolas Maduro's security team was killed in the U.S. raid that led to the leader's Saturday capture, Venezuelan Defense Minister General Vladimir Padrino said in a television statement on Sunday morning. Padrino did not give an exact figure of casualties, but backed the declaration of Vice President Delcy Rodriguez as interim president and said the armed forces have been activated across the country to guarantee sovereignty. Again, doesn't sound like they're ready to roll over as quickly as it sounded like Donald Trump said they had rolled over. But again, it remains to be seen what happens next. That's the big question. What happens next? It's not, okay, were we able to do this? I don't think anybody denied or had any, distinction saying that the United States didn't have the capability to do this. Because I think everybody knows that we do. It's whether or not we had the legal justification, the legal right, the legal action, and the approval by Congress to do so. That's the question. And I ask you guys, if we're able to do this to Nicolas Maduro, right, and Donald Trump wants to make you think it's about drugs and how many fucking people the drugs are killing, how about we talk about Vladimir Putin? Can we talk about Vladimir Putin and why the special forces haven't been dropped into the Kremlin last night, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Because if we're talking about just straight up number of people fucking killed, if we're talking about oppression on your own people, if we're talking about murdering your own countrymen, if we're talking about disappearing your own countrymen, if we're talking about sending your own countrymen to gulags in fucking Siberia, Arctic camps, right? If we're talking about stolen children, then there's nobody higher on the list that I could think of more than Vladimir Putin. So you can't even take the excuses that Donald Trump gives you, even if you're dumb enough to believe it in MAGA, and use that as justification because there's so many more people higher up on the list. Xi Jinping, is he not responsible for oppressing his people? Is he not responsible for murdering and disappearing his own people? Is he not responsible for fucking slave camps and enslaving his own people? Is he not responsible for threatening Taiwan? Is he not responsible for the military actions in the the intelligence incursions on Taiwan and the United States, the intellectual property theft of companies in the United States? So again, if we're going to try to use his justification, which is, I'm trying to show the hypocrisy in it, it doesn't make sense. It still doesn't fucking add up. No matter what you take from this guy, no matter what you take from this administration, none of it fucking adds up. None of it. And it's fucking ridiculous. And this goes on too, because not only was it his security detail, but this is now saying Venezuelan officials say at least 40 people were killed in the U.S. attack. Let me see if I can just make this a little bigger on your screen. How's that? A little easier to see for you guys. All right, let's just get into a little bit of this. This is a new New York Times article. Venezuelan officials say at least 40 people were killed in U.S. attack. The officials said the dead included civilians and military personnel. So again, we are now responsible for the deaths of more innocent civilian people. Above and beyond the 110, 120 people we've taken out in the fucking in the boats without due process, right? Without their day in court, without fucking evidence provided to the American people. So again, more fucking, as you knew it was inevitable, right? I mean, you see some of the footage. When you see footage like this, just to give you Venezuela attack footage, when you see shit like this, there's just no way you could do this in a populated area like fucking Caracas, and again, not have civilian casualties. It's just not possible. Just to give you
This is the moment the mission nearly turned catastrophic.
All right, let me see here. So when you see stuff like, like this one, this is the video.
With access to early casualty.
So when you see stuff like this, right?
Caracas plunged into darkness. Explosions echoed across the city.
In Caracas, knowing the fucking population, knowing the density, then one can assume, it was easily assumed that we were going to have civilian casualties, right? So again, now we're just doing the confirming here. We're just doing the confirmation of what we already knew was happening while we were watching it take place. The United States has now actively, again, killed innocent civilian people in an illegal incursion, in an illegal kidnapping, in an illegal act of war, and now we are running that country. We have quite literally just come out in front of cameras. This is like, again, how crazy this is? Like, this is shit said behind closed doors typically. Like, we're usually lied to, and we're usually told that there are weapons of mass destruction, and we need to be there, and we need to stay there. But it's because of the weapons of mass destruction and the fucking, the security threat it poses to the United States. That's why. But behind the fucking doors, behind the scenes, in these closed doors meetings is when they actually talk about the real reasons. And that was usually how it went. Now, Donald Trump being so demented and deluded, right, and having such a fucking stranglehold, he believes, on this, on this country and on political power, he and his fucking cronies have absolutely no fucking problems whatsoever blatantly telling you their fucking their goals. In, again, a takeover of a sovereign nation. We're going to be running the country, he said. Do you know how fucking insane that is? Are we saying that there's nobody in Venezuela, not a single fucking person in Venezuela that has the, the fucking, the resume, the ability to run Venezuela? Like, we have to step in and do it ourselves, is what we're saying? And since when do we give a fuck? And it's funny to see MAGA all of a sudden care about Venezuelans, right? It's funny to be like, oh, they're so happy to see him cheer. Well, that's funny, because would you allow them to come into the United States? The same people that are cheering in Caracas. if they wanted to now come into the United States, and again, knowing what we know about history, what history has told us is when fucking the United States goes and meddles in different countries and we destabilize countries, that has a huge impact on immigration, right? So when a country is destabilized, which is absolutely on the fucking cards for Venezuela, people don't want to live there anymore, which inevitably gets them to flee that. Where they flee to is the United States, thus leading to the immigration problems that we have seen in recent memory, in recent past, right? So again, I ask you, MAGA, you're loving the celebrations here, you're applauding the strikes. Would you let these people into the country? Huh? Would you let these people live alongside you? Would you let them buy the house next to you? Or are you actively at this moment trying to fucking deport their relatives at the same time you're cheering for what you believe is their freedom or independence? Tell me how that fucking makes sense. Tell me how can you add those two things up and come 2 + 2 = 4? That's what I'd like to know. That's what I'd like to know. The hypocrisy just knows no bounds with Republicans, with MAGA, with America First, with the President of Peace. No new wars, right? No new fucking wars, ladies and gentlemen. No new wars would be undertaken. Good Lord, I'll be fucking goddamned if he hasn't ramped up the drone strikes and military activity exponentially, even above his first administration, where he exponentially ramped up the drone and missile activity even above beyond Obama's fucking administration. So now we're even blowing that out of the water, well beyond what Joe Biden did in his 4 years in office, already in the first fucking 12 months in office for Donald Trump. So again, tell me how you can make sense of anything that Donald Trump promised or said to you, and what you're espousing and what you're defending right now. I mean, how are you defending 40 people being killed to kidnap fucking Nicolas Maduro and his wife? Funny enough to be held, I believe, in tried in the same court that Donald Trump was tried in, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of crazy. But that leads me to this. Talking about corruption in the government, talking about this fucking, how this government is acting like no other government has acted before. Here's another instance. Here's another category in which that's true. So we talked about in the intro how somebody in this government used their insider information, used the insider knowledge that these actions were going to take place. You would have to expect there'd be a fucking high-ranking official in the administration, a high-ranking official in the military, right? I mean, who else would know the information to give them the access to do something like this? So I'm going to try to play this again. I hate fucking trying to play stuff on Instagram. You can never play it from the beginning or stop it. So I'm just going to play this again. This is anonymous Polymarket user. Sorry, it wasn't Kelshi. My apologies. It wasn't Kelshi. That's just another one of those ridiculous fucking gambling sites that nobody should fucking use because literally the owner of the sites say that insider trading is good. So it's manipulated markets. This is what TYT Studio is named after. Polymarket Studio is exactly why that fucking TYT Studio is named what it is. So again, let's dive into this. This is an anonymous Polymarket user, made $400,000 in 24 hours by trading on inside information related to the U.S. invasion of Venezuela. And again, it wasn't just the removal of Maduro. It was like a fucking whole host of bets that this guy put in. I think he spent, I want to say like 30 grand. I think he invested 30 grand and his winnings were $400,000. Pretty good day. Pretty good 24 hours. But let's check this out.
John D. Rockefeller once famously told the world his investment strategy: buy when there's blood in the streets, even if that blood is your own. Meaning the best investment opportunities present themselves when there is panic and fear and chaos and bloodshed. And one Polymarket user proved that to be true, making $400,000 overnight by betting on the president of Venezuela exiting the country. Now, this was a brand new Polymarket account. Never made any other markets, never held any other positions. All they did was place bets.
Not somebody that's like a pro gambler, right? Not somebody that's a fucking, a barstool jock or whatever the fuck that bets on all things no matter what. This guy, literally, whoever it was, made the account that fucking night and then fucking spent 30 grand betting on these bets. And you're telling me this isn't somebody in the government that has the access to this information, that used this to profit off it, just like Donald Trump has done, taught his fucking administration how to do, advised his administration and all the people that work for him to do. Get it while you can get it. Fucking, I don't care if it's crypto. I don't care if you're scheming the government. I don't care if you're ripping off Medicare. I don't care if you're ripping off fucking the kids in this country. Put it in your pocket while you can is the fucking motto of Donald Trump and this administration. And you can see it here on the screen.
related to the United States going to war with Venezuela and the Venezuelan president being ousted. You can see all the profits earned, and here are all their positions. Maduro out by the end of 2026. U.S. invade Venezuela in 2026. Trump invokes war powers against Venezuela.
Look at these fucking bets. So Maduro out by January 31st, 2026, right? So he made $205,000 on that one bet. Will the U.S. invade Venezuela by January 31st, 2026? $5,000 on that one. Trump invokes war powers against Venezuela by January 31st. Made $1,200 on that one. U.S. forces in Venezuela by January 31st, another $800. Maduro out by a certain time, another $7,000, another $7,000, another $50 bet, $6,000, another $6,000 on Maduro. I mean, what?
January 31st. Some bets on January 2nd. Trump goes to war. Everything hits on January 3rd, and you make yourself $400K overnight. Now, this is not just a one-time thing that happened on Polymarket with the war in Venezuela. Joe Pompliano wrote in his Substack about how this kind of insider trading happens all the time. Go subscribe to Joe's Substack and his newsletter. He's got a lot of great information in there. But on his Substack, he wrote about a Google insider who once made $1.2 million in
and again, these are different stories about the different insider trading on these sites. But again, to have the reporting that somebody in the government, somebody in the military, somebody with the knowledge to do this, literally risked $30,000 knowing that this was going to happen and profited nearly a fucking $500,000 from it. So again, if you don't think that this is falling in line, if you don't think this is trickling down to other people in the administration, the way that Donald Trump has set it, all the fucking examples Donald Trump has set, then you got another thing coming.
In a day by hitting on 22 out of 23 bets that were all related to who would be the most searched person of the year. Obviously, someone working at Google has that information right in front of them and can play the market however they want. Now, another Polymarket user called him out for insider trading, and he just changed his name and kept it moving. Here is the CEO of Polymarket basically saying insider trading is pretty fucking cool.
Do you think we should allow insider trading in prediction markets? And I said, it's actually it's not as clear-cut question, right? Because,
and again, this is just the allowance of corruption. This is just the fucking begging people to be corrupt on these websites. That's why I implore people not to use these fucking websites. It's a joke. It's all fucking rigged. It's all insider information. It's basically the crypto betting fucking system, right? So, somebody's going to make it out on top, and then a lot of other people are going to get fucking screwed. That's kind of how it works. But again, somebody in the government, somebody with access to insider information made $400,000 on a brand new account on Polymarket, betting on the removal of Maduro and lots of other fucking things. And again, profited nearly $500,000 fucking dollars. $500,000. What is it? No, yeah, that was just where the information came from. That's just where the story came from. That was no endorsement of where we watched it by any means. That was just kind of the explanation that I saw, so I put it on. All right, let's dive into a little bit of Marco Rubio's bullshit, if I may, because he sat down with not only Kristen Welker, but also Stephanopoulos as well. Let's start with the Stephanopoulos clips, if I can. I'm just going to go through just a few of them. I'm going to see where they start here, if I can. Don't care about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Don't care about that. So I think I had the first one. All set. So we'll get into George Stephanopoulos talking to Marco Rubio here. And this is Stephanopoulos asking, he's asking, Trump said the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. And then he asked very plainly, very clearly to Marco Rubio, under what legal authority are you guys doing this? And then you can tell that Marco Rubio definitely doesn't have an answer to the question, doesn't want to answer the question, and wants to get away from that as fast as possible with as much propaganda as bullshit as he could possibly throw on the screen. So check this out. This is Marco Rubio's response to, again, he's allegedly the person in charge of Venezuela right now. In case you guys are wondering who's running Venezuela, if you ask Donald Trump, it's Marco Rubio. Just to get that out there. All right, this is, again, a little clip from Stephanopoulos and Rubio. He's asked what legal authority the United States has to just take over Venezuela, and this is his response.
This morning, President Trump was pretty clear yesterday. He said the United States is going to run Venezuela. Under what legal authority?
Well, first of all, what's going to happen here is that we have a quarantine on their oil. That means their economy.
So you hear right off the bat, he almost repeated the question, right? So he almost said, well, under what legal authority? And then he goes into saying, you know, you can tell his brain thought like, okay, maybe I shouldn't repeat that because then it makes it more like I'll have to answer the question then. And he doesn't want to have to answer the question because he can't answer the question.
Not be able to move forward until the conditions that are in the national interest of the United States and the interest of the Venezuelan people are met. And that's what we intend to do. So that leverage remains. That leverage is ongoing.
And again, at what point is literally taking over somebody's country, stealing the profits, stealing their fucking oil industry? At what point is that good for the people of Venezuela? Right? At what point in history can you point to that would prove to us that the United States has the ability to actually look at the best interests of the people that they just fucking invaded? Can you just throw that one on the screen for me if you got that fucking graphic?
We expect that it's going to lead to results here. We're hopeful that it does, positive results for the people of Venezuela, but ultimately, most importantly for us, in the national interest of the United States. We want.
And that would scare the fucking shit out of me if I was living in Venezuela. If I was a Venezuelan citizen, Marco Rubio saying that one line would scare the shit out of me. Listen to this one more time.
We expect that it's going to lead to results here. We're hopeful that it does, positive results for the people of Venezuela, but ultimately, most importantly for us, in the national interest of the United States. We want.
For the Venezuelan people, but most importantly, for the people of the United States, for the United States. And when he says the people of the United States in the United States, what he really means is the oil industries, the fucking conglomerates, the 1%, the billionaires in the United States, not me, you, and everybody else. That's what he's talking about.
We'll no longer have, hopefully, as we move forward here, we'll set the conditions so that we no longer have in our hemisphere a Venezuela that's the crossroads for many of our adversaries around the world, including Iran and Hezbollah, is no longer sending us drug gangs, is no longer sending us drug boats, is no longer a narco trafficking paradise for all those drugs coming out of Colombia to going through the Caribbean and toward.
So why don't you go after Colombia? Right? How does that make sense? Why are we going after like the port of like the stop? Like we're going after the fucking midpoint here, right? As they're trying to get it across. Like why don't we go after where the drugs are being produced? Why don't you go after, the actual people and the actual fucking, remote villages and the remote fucking places where they're making the drugs, right? I'm not calling for any action, but it would make sense if what they're talking about is their actual goals, that they would not go to like the midpoint, the fucking meetup point. They would actually try to talk to the people of Colombia, talk to the government of Colombia, try to, again, work with them to stop the drug trade, to stop the drug flow in both, Colombia, Peru, wherever, Ecuador, wherever you guys want to point to. Wouldn't it be more, it'd be more influential? Wouldn't it be more impactful if we did it that way instead of going in and bombing these places, taking them over, removing the leaders, installing new leaders, right? Wouldn't that be a little better way to go? We call that diplomacy, I think, is how you define that.
The United States. And obviously, we want a better future for the people of Venezuela. We want them to have an oil industry where the wealth goes to the people, not to a handful of corrupt individuals and stolen by, pirates all over the world.
That's hilarious. That's fucking funny, Marco. You're not a funny guy, dude. I know you're not a funny guy, but that's fucking funny. The fact that it's not going to be stolen by pirates, that's exactly what's happening. There's already a meeting set up of companies going down there to explore the possibility of profits and what they could take over, what they could pillage from. It's already in motion. Right. So Donald Trump is the pirate in this instance. The United States is the pirate in this instance. Donald Trump's not talking about helping the Venezuelan people with the profits of the United States taxpayers that's going to go to rebuild the oil industry, right, in Venezuela. He's not talking about giving that to the Venezuelan people. He's not talking about making their lives better. He's talking about sending it back to the United States, talking about reparations. He's talking about stealing the shit that he believes Venezuela stole from us. How the fuck that could be possible, I don't know. Venezuela came over and somehow stuck a straw in the ground in the United States and somehow sucked out the fucking oil they don't even produce, considering we produce mainly that sweet light oil and not the crude oil that Venezuela produces. But somehow they managed to, fucking step foot on the United States soil, stuck a straw right in the ground, and they managed to suck out some of the oil and bring it back to Venezuela. And now Donald Trump wants it back. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Reparations? Are you hearing yourself talk? Because it doesn't sound like, again, the person that's in charge, being Donald Trump, has the same fucking rhetoric that you do or the same intentions for the Venezuelan people. And again, he already wants this $50 million reward that was out there for Maduro. Yeah, Donald Trump wants that himself. Like, you didn't know that was fucking coming.
That's what we're working towards, and we intend to use the leverage we have to help achieve that.
Let me ask the question again. What is the legal authority for the United States to be running Venezuela?
And in my opinion, George Stephanopoulos should have never let him just get on with another fucking minute and 22 seconds of propaganda when the specific question was, what is the legal authority? And he clearly did not answer that question. Can we stop being more fucking assertive? Can we stop being more aggressive in our reporting? You know, these fucking journalists and these, you know, these anchors, can you start getting more, you know, fucking ferocious with the shit that you know remains to be true? And the bullshit that you hear in response from these fucking assholes that you have on your show? How about you press them a little bit more? How about you fucking make them look stupid? How about you demand the actual fucking rules and regulations, the fucking page, the, you know, the fucking, the decimal point, whatever the fuck it is, right? On the exact law and regulation that gives him the ability to do this. So the United States, the ability to do this. Press him. Press him. Make him look like a fool. Make him look stupid. Make him look like he doesn't know what he's talking about, because you know he fucking doesn't.
I explained to you what our goals are and how we're going to use the leverage to make.
But I don't care what your goals are. We don't give a fuck about your leverage. The question was, what legal authority do you have? Period, point blank. No other fucking answers are recommended. No other answers are needed. No fucking lawyer bullshit. No political fucking jargon is needed. What legal authority do you fucking have to run Venezuela? Done. What is the answer? If that's not the answer that I hear come out of your mouth, shut the fuck up.
Make it happen. As far as what our legal authority is on the quarantine, I'm very simple. We have court orders. These are sanctioned boats, and we get orders from courts.
Is Maduro a sanctioned boat? Did Maduro did he transition into a fucking an oil vessel? Did he? Is he now a cargo ship? Did him and his wife just fucking did they change the paperwork? Now all of a sudden they're oil fucking they're refineries now. Nope, they're oil refined. They're oil itself. That's what they are. Maduro is oil. That's why that's the legal authority we have to take it. Maduro and his wife are just oil, and we have a court order where we can take the oil. So that's how that works. Like, what are we fucking talking about?
To go after and seize these sanctions. So that's I don't know, is a court not a legal authority?
You didn't seize the sanctions. You seized the president and his wife. What? You didn't seize boats. We're not talking about the boats anymore. We're talking about the rockets fired into Caracas. We're talking about the fucking civilians that were killed. We're talking about the security team that was killed. We're talking about the kidnapping of the president, whether illegitimate or legitimate, of a fucking sovereign nation. That's just what it is. Again, we're not asking you what the end goals are. We don't care about the fucking oil tankers at this moment in time. We're asking you about the legal authority you have to run Venezuela. And clearly you don't have an answer, so I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up unless you do. And again, Stephanopoulos, grab your fucking balls and do your job.
So is the United States running Venezuela right now?
Well, I've explained once again. I'll do it one more time.
Well, that's a different. Okay. Do you see these fucking condescending pricks? Well, I've explained it 3 times. I've obfuscated 3 times and propagandized 3 times. So let me do it again here. Well, that's a different question than he asked you the first 2 times. So it's impossible for you to have the same answer in response, right? So no, you don't have to come out with the same propagandistic rhetoric and bullshit, because it's a totally different question, because Stephanopoulos let you get off the hook on the first one. See how that works? See how that works? If you propagandize enough, if you bullshit enough, the reporters will get sick of it. They won't press you, and they'll just go on to the next question, which is why these assholes get away with it, which is why they don't mind showing up on ABC, because they know they're not going to be fucking pressed. They know there's a fucking routine that they have to get out of answering the question, and that they're not going to be fucking made to look a fool like they actually are, or it should be. So that's why they got no problem going on here and fucking pissing on Stephanopoulos and fucking Kristen Welker, you know, who every fucking once in a blue moon might have a good interview or a good question, but on the vast majority of them suck fucking nuts.
We are running is the direction that this is going to moving forward, and that is we have leverage. This leverage we are using, and we intend to use
leverage, but no legal authority. See how that works? So they're using the leverage that we all know the United States has, as far as military power, as far as economic power, as far as trading power, right? So we're now just talking about directly using that pressure, that leverage. No legal authority, just the pressure and the leverage to enact a regime change in, again, another fucking country. This is how this, like, the backdoor dealings and the stuff that used to be talked about in these fucking cigar-filled or, you know, whiskey-filled rooms of billionaires is now just being said point blank on ABC on fucking George Stephanopoulos' show without any fucking pushback.
Started using already. You can see where they are running out of storage capacity. In a few weeks, they're going to have to start pumping oil unless they make changes. And that leverage that we have with the armada of boats that are currently positioned allow us to seize any sanctioned boats coming into or out of Venezuela, loaded with oil or on its way in to pick up oil, and we can pick and choose which ones we go after. We have court orders for each one. That
Again, not talking about the vessels, talking about the actual incursion and running of the country, totally fucking not answering the question, as you can see, and not pushed back on at all. There's another little fucking pot right now where Stephanopoulos asked him point blank, is Marco Rubio currently running Venezuela? Let's hear Marco Rubio's response in the lack of pushback from Stephanopoulos.
orders that we have.
When the president was asked yesterday who will be running Venezuela, he said it was you. He said it was the defense secretary. He said it was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Are you running Venezuela right now?
George, I've explained again that the leverage that we have here is the leverage of the quarantine. So that is.
Are you running the country?
The Department of War operation, conducting, in some cases, law enforcement functions with the Coast Guard on the seizure of these boats. I'm obviously very intricately involved in these policies. And by the way, very intricately involved in moving forward. And what
this is where you shut him down, George. Shut him down. He's not answering your fucking question. He's wasting your time. He's wasting my time. He's wasting the network's time. And he's fucking making you look like a fool because we're not getting the actual information to the people. Okay, so shut him the fuck down. Say, Marco, I'm sorry, but if you're not going to answer the fucking question, take a fucking hike. Okay, you can either answer the question and stay on camera, or you can fucking propagandize to yourself in the fucking mirror in the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago with the rest of the fucking classified documents. You son of a bitch. How about that? Shut him the fuck down. I'm so sick of these fucking people getting their way and having their way and not being fucking pushed back on and propagandizing all the fucking people in the world that they want. And they fucking have apparently nobody in fucking corporate media, mainstream media, that has the fucking balls to push back on these pricks.
Hope to see some of these changes being addressed. Unfortunately, the person that was there before, who was not the legitimate president of the country, was someone we could not work with, was someone that we could not. He had already suckered the Biden administration.
Right. So you enacted an act of war, an illegal act, an unconstitutional act without congressional approval to remove that person and his wife. That's the fucking gist of it, right? That's the gist of it. You didn't like the guy. He wasn't playing ball, which, again, there's been multiple fucking stories and reporting of times where, Maduro has seemingly been willing to play ball with the United States. There's been a couple times, I believe it was reported that Venezuela even sent or donated some fuel. Forgive me if I'm misreporting this story. It is out there where I believe that Venezuela even donated some gas to a specific population of the United States when they had a national emergency and they couldn't get it elsewhere. It was something along those lines. But there are instances that you could point to. And again, I'll reiterate for the fucking 10th time, Maduro is a fucking maniacal, murderous asshole that brutalized his people that should not have been in power to begin with. But again, two things can be true. Two things can be true. You can talk about two things being true at the same time. It's an illegal, unconstitutional act, never should have been undertaken by the United States. And also that Maduro is a maniacal, authoritarian dictator who abused and oppressed his own people and absolutely was the illegitimate leader of Venezuela. Okay? So you see how we can live in reality at the same time while calling out the actions of the United States. We don't have to go and fucking talk about Maduro like he's a saint. We're not defending Maduro or anything that he did. Nothing about that is fucking defensible at all. Right? And again, that's what the right's trying to point out. They're all defending Maduro. They're all, no, we're not. Shut the fuck up. How about that? And then there was a couple more of these clips as well. Let's see here. I think there was one more from this one. Yeah, why wasn't congressional authorization necessary is asked by Stephanopoulos. I just want to hear Marco's response here, and then we'll dive into a little bit of his Kristen Welker sit down where I'm sure she did no pushback at all either. So let's dive into, again, he's being questioned. Why was congressional authorization not needed, even though it was? And this is his bullshit answer.
I'm still not clear on what the legal authority is for the United States to run the country of Venezuela, but several members of Congress.
And again, he's not going to press. That's George Stephanopoulos right there admitting he didn't get an answer from fucking Marco Rubio, but he's not going to press it anymore. He's just going to go on to the next subject. Next question.
Legal experts have said this operation to take Maduro was illegal because you didn't seek congressional authorization. Why wasn't congressional authorization necessary?
It wasn't necessary because this was not an invasion. We didn't occupy a country.
Boots are on the ground, right? Were boots on the ground? Boots are on the ground, right? Rockets were fired into Caracas. We actually killed innocent civilians, right? We killed people. Again, boots on the ground, helicopters, planes, drones. That's not an invasion? Pretty sure that's an invasion. Pretty sure that's an act of war. And that you're trying to, again, he's trying to call this like a police action. Again, like it was a fucking disturbance. Like it was a domestic call on a Friday night at 2:30 after the bar or something like that. That's, again, not what this was.
an arrest operation.
Needless
This is
to
a law
say.
enforcement operation. He was arrested on the ground in Venezuela by FBI agents, read his rights, and removed from the country. Have you?
Well, it must have been FBI agents flown in by the United States fucking military. How dumb do you think we are? You think the FBI was just fucking cruising around Caracas like, oh shit, military's here. Maybe we should go get fucking Maduro. Maybe so. Let's do it so they don't have to. That's cool. Oh, right place, right time.
I encourage everyone. I know it's Sunday, people are busy, but the indictments have now been unsealed. People should read this indictment. They should read this indictment. They should read what this man did for the last 15 years of his life.
They should. They should read the indictment. They should all read the indictment of the president of Honduras as well. So if you're going to read the indictment of Nicolas Maduro, please go back and read the indictment of the president of Honduras as well. The same guy that Donald Trump just pardoned. Again, the same guy that was responsible for over 400 tons of cocaine coming into this country and a lot more. But again, that guy was just pardoned by this administration as Maduro was kidnapped, as Putin's given a red carpet welcome, as Zelensky is met by nobody. So if you can't put those into a fucking book and actually draw out some conclusions from all of those instances, I'm not sure I can help you.
Against the United States, him and his wife. He was arrested. Obviously, this was not a friendly territory. So in order to arrest him, we had to ask the Department of War to become involved in this.
In order to arrest him, we had to kill innocent civilians. We had to literally fire fucking rockets into Caracas. We had to quite literally have 20% of our Navy off the coast of fucking Venezuela. And let's see, that was the end of that one. Of course, not answering it. Frankly, a number of media outlets, that's where he says there were some leaks. I don't think we have to go into that one. Maduro was indicted. Nobody ever did anything about it. Oh yeah, this is where he brings up the same thing that I just brought up. Well, I guess that's a good point. That's some flowers for Stephanopoulos there for even mentioning this. Let's take a look at this.
Case of Maduro. Look, it's very simple. This guy was indicted. No one ever did anything about it. He didn't think.
Maduro was indicted. The president of Honduras was convicted, tried, convicted, sentenced. So again, see how that works? One was much more further along, right? Much more evidence. I don't want to say much more evidence, but evidence that has been gone through in a court of law already been determined of his guilt, already been sentenced, and that guy was pardoned. But Marco Rubio is trying to convey that, oh, this guy was indicted and nothing was done. Well, again, how do you justify that? And at the same time, go on to talk about the pardon of the Honduras president. And again, he pulls the fucking what's the dickhead's name? Mike Johnson. He pulls the Mike Johnson here. Oh, I've never heard that. I can't speak on that. That's not my department. No, I'm sorry. I can't speak on that. I have never heard that. I didn't see that interview is basically the response here by Marco Rubio.
He was under threat that the indictment was ever going to be enforced. It was enforced yesterday.
Hernandez was convicted by a jury.
I understand. You're asking me. The pardon authority is something that, I'm not involved.
Oh, yeah. That's not my authority. I'm sorry. I know what you're asking me, and I can't comment as a bright individual that I'm supposed to be, as just a human being, as somebody with a brain, a head on their own shoulders. I'm sorry. I can't comment on that, on what I believe is right or wrong. I'm not in that department. My brain's been turned off at this point now. The Trump administration says I'm no longer allowed to comment on that. So sorry, George. I don't know anything about it.
In my role, I'm not criticizing it. I can't just comment on it because I just wasn't involved in those deliberations.
Okay, so from what you do know, how about that? From what you do know, let's take what you do know about that, because it's been widely reported. Don't tell me that you haven't seen any of the reports. Don't tell me that you haven't been fucking familiar with the case to begin with. So let's just go based off what you do know. Do you think it's a good look? Do you think it fits in line with the rhetoric and the actions of this administration, talking about going after the drug trade, going after fucking Maduro for allegedly the drug traffic that goes through Venezuela into the United States? Again, horse shit. But again, can you just tell us, do you think in your own minds, in your own words, that fits in line with what this administration is doing, regardless of what Trump says, regardless of what fucking department you're working for, regardless of who is responsible for that pardon? You are supposed to be an intelligent individual now representing the government of the United States of America. So can you answer the question or no? Just curious on that one. No, you can't? Okay.
Do you support it?
I wasn't involved in those deliberations.
Again, clear question. Do you support it? Right? So that was a good follow-up. I'd say that's a good follow-up. Okay, you don't have to know about it. You don't have to be responsible for it. But do you support it is the question. And again, can't even answer it. Can't even answer it.
I'm not criticizing it. I can't just comment on it because I just wasn't involved in those deliberations.
Do you support it?
I wasn't involved in those deliberations. I haven't looked at the case file. I haven't looked at the arguments made by
little fucking weasel, just an absolute weasel. And I'll remind you guys that this is the same guy that also said this. And just give me a second. Just give me a second here. Let me find this sound bite because he's got a few of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's got this one.
I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
Okay, so that's him talking about Donald Trump as a con artist, right? I think there's another one that I have in here as well where he says the con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and we can't allow that to happen. Let me see if I can find that one as well. My apologies.
But I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
Okay, so again, that's the same guy, and the same guy where the response was
he's calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Okay, right? So that's the same guy that went back and forth with Donald Trump. He's a con artist. He's a fraudster. We can't let him take over the Republican Party. Now, all of a sudden, not only is he taking over the Republican Party, but Marco Rubio's okay with him taking over fucking Venezuela. How does that work? Again, one more time, doesn't want him to take over the Republican Party.
But I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
But don't worry, it's okay if he takes over Venezuela. No, it's fine. There was a slip of the tongue.
I've got a bunch of other things going on that are within my purview as secretary.
All right, let's dive into a little bit of the sit down that he had with, I believe it was Kristen Welker. Yeah, this one as well, just to see if there's any more information, any more details, if he's pressed on anything. I highly doubt he is, but again, just to see a little bit. Where is he? Yeah, he comes in right away. So I'll just dive into the beginning of this.
Joining me now is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Secretary Rubio, welcome back to Meet the Press.
And thank you so much, guys. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I really do appreciate you for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing. We're on all the time. We have multiple shows during the week, so please come back whenever you have the time. And I really do appreciate the support, guys. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to start with this big picture question. Is the United States now at war with Venezuela?
There's not a war. I mean, we are at war against drug trafficking organizations. It's not a war against Venezuela.
Okay, so again, not a war, but you are at war. There was an act of war that you initiated, but not at war. But we are at war, but we're not at war. Just how does that work? So you're at war with the cartels coming from Venezuela. You're at war with the the civilians that you've killed so far by the 100. Coming out of there. But again, you're not at war. You just kidnapped the leader. You just kidnapped the fucking the president and his first wife. You just killed 40 civilians, right? And his security team, but somehow not war. Okay. You got that? You guys got that? That's clear to you guys?
We are enforcing American laws with regards to oil sanctions. We have sanctioned entities. We go to court. We get a warrant. We seize those boats with oil. And
again, I ask, what boat is Nicolas Maduro and his wife? What are they? SS Maduro? What's the name of their vessel? I ask.
Continue. So clear, and we would continue to reserve the right to take strikes against drug boats that are bringing drugs towards the United States that are being operated.
And how does that imply to Caracas? Again, capital city, heavily populated. How does that? How do drug boats in international waters, as you're trying to kind of conflate the two issues? How does that relate to, again, live fire into Caracas, killing civilians and kidnapping the president and his first fucking and his wife? How is those comparable again?
By transnational criminal organizations, including the Cartel de los Sols. Of course, the leader of that cartel, is now in U.S. custody and facing U.S. justice in the Southern District of New York, and that's Nicolas Maduro. So we made a big progress in that regard.
It was strange to see, too, because I don't know if you guys saw kind of like the perp walk that they posted from Maduro, but he was kind of like in good spirits, right? I don't know. Let me see if I can pull this up just real quick. It was kind of, yeah, here it is. Like, he's like, hey, how you doing? Fucking, it was just kind of a little weird. I think, yeah, I'll throw this on your screen. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. I'll play this real quick. Do you guys see this? Maybe nobody's going to see it? Come on, Fox. You fucking assholes. Here we go. Play the fucking... Play. Wow. Fox sucks in more ways than one. Look at this bullshit. Can't even play the fucking video. You'd think they'd want this played on their website. It's a fucking... the brown guy being perp walked, they'd be all over it. Come on. Refresh, maybe? Just play the fucking video. Oh, here we go. Play the video. All right, well, apparently Fox doesn't want you to see it, so we'll go to another fucking website. How about that? How about this one? How about this one? Anything? Is anything working right now? What's the deal? All right, well, we'll show you pictures, I guess. We'll show you the pictures. This is him being perp walked in. Oh, here you go, here you go, here you go.
Good night. Good night. Happy New Year.
He says Happy New Year? Did he just say Happy New Year? What the fuck?
Hey, Happy New Year.
Fucking guy's tapped. The fucking guy is tapped. Happy New Year, he says. Fucking Jesus Christ. Oh, boy.
Secretary, who is in charge? Are you running Venezuela right now?
Yeah, I mean, I keep people, fixating on that.
He says, yeah. Did he say, yeah?
Who is in charge? Are you running Venezuela right now?
Yeah, I mean, I keep people, fixating on that. Here's the bottom line on it is we expect to see changes in Venezuela.
What do you mean people are fixated? The fucking president of the United States, you asshole, quite literally said this, you fucking monkey.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious.
The fuck you blaming us for? We didn't say it, you jackass. What the fuck? Yeah, people are hopping on this, and I don't know why even people are bringing this up. You're not sure why people are bringing that up? I do. I can give you one reason.
We're going to run the country until such.
There you go, right there. The president, as you stood next to him, isn't that you behind him? You fucking loser. He quite literally was behind him as he said it, and he's like, I don't know why people even suggest that. That's ridiculous for you to suggest. That's a crazy assertion. How did you come up with that fucking nonsense? Why? You would think that. Of course I'm not running it. I'm sitting here doing an interview with you. It's like, okay, well, once again, president, the guy that fucking, Oval Office, White House, that guy in charge of the country, unfortunately, at this point, quite literally said, we're running the country. And then pointed directly to you, as other people have done, as well as being the person in charge. So not really that asinine of a question. And you might want to get your answers. Like, you might not want to say, yeah, like directly in response to that question, if that's not the answer you're intending to give. Right? Do you hear him? He was like, yeah. And then he goes on to try to deny it. Well, you said yeah first, so we'll take that soundbite.
Venezuela. Changes of all kinds, long-term, short-term. We'd love to see all kinds of changes, but the most immediate changes are
We'd like to see all types of changes, and all of which are going to be implemented and enacted by the United States and the billionaires and the fucking corporations down there that are going to do everything they possibly can to extract the most amount of profit from every venture that they now get involved with in Venezuela. And don't think for a fucking second that's not how capitalism works. You think these assholes, you think these fucking rich fucking pricks are going down there for the betterment of the Venezuelan people? I got a fucking bridge, 1,000 bridges to sell you if that's the case. You think the fucking billionaires that are watching people starve in this country, that are watching and fucking stripping kids of cancer research funding, and all the fucking rest of the shit that we know that was done by Doge, that's cut off by billionaires, that's fucking advocated against by billionaires. You think that these motherfuckers are going down there to help the Venezuelan people that they're now fucking kicking out of this country, that don't want to see next to them in their fucking neighborhoods? Please, motherfuckers, please give me an absolute fucking break. And there was a couple people, even on that normally have good takes on this, that are somehow like excusing this whole action. I forget the girl's name. She's on Instagram. I'm sure she's on all of the social media platforms. Usually really fucking good. And what's her name? Mercedes or something? I forget her name. Something. I forget her screen. I think her name's Mercedes. She's got short hair, typically in the mirror with her phone, giving great takes and stuff like that. But fucking holy shit, did she miss the mark on this one? Just an absolutely horrendous take without actually, like, it basically saying, I hate Donald Trump and everything that he's about, and I don't trust him, but this is a great move. This illegal, unconstitutional act was great. It's going to be great for the Venezuelan people. We know from history that all of the time that this shit happens, it really turns out well for the people that actively live in this country, right? And never. So again, there's been a lot of people that I've seen that have had surprising takes on this. And, I'm going to try to hopefully keep it real as possible when we speak about this and the realities of it and what to hope, what we're going to expect to see come from this. And again, if you think it's the betterment of the Venezuelan people, I got a lot of shit to sell you. And please come in because I need the money.
They're in the national interest of the United States. That's why we're involved here, because of how it applies and has a direct impact on the United States. Okay, we are not going to be able to allow in our hemisphere a country that becomes a crossroads for the activities of all of our adversaries around the world.
And again, we're not going to punish the adversaries, right? We're not going to punish the people or do anything to the people that are actually making and shipping the drugs to this through point, this checkpoint, as he's calling it. We're going to go to the checkpoint and we're going to totally disrupt them because we're still trying to get you to believe this is about the drug trade. Like, still to this point, they're trying to get you to believe it's about the drug trade. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's talking like explicitly about oil companies, the takeover, the profits. Like, come on.
Can't allow it. We can't have a country where the people in charge of its military and in charge of its police department are openly cooperating with drug trafficking organizations. We're not going to allow that. These things are direct threats to the United States, and we intend to use every element of leverage that we have.
The United States is under absolutely no direct threat from Venezuela whatsoever. None at all that would justify this type of action, even remotely. None. There are fucking countries much higher on the list than Venezuela that are responsible for more fucking drugs, more death, more destruction, right? More threats against the United States, more fucking intellectual property theft, more kidnapped children in Ukraine, millions of fucking dead, oppression of their own people. So even using the list of their fucking, their talking points that they're using as justification still doesn't add up, still doesn't make sense because there's many more countries on the world stage, many more world leaders, many more autocrats and fucking dictators that we would point to, that we would look at, that we would fucking take action against before Nicolas Maduro even came up on the fucking list, if we're being real.
That changes. The one I would point everyone to is that our military is helping the Coast Guard conduct a law enforcement function, which is not just the capture of Maduro, but the enforcement of our sanctions. We go to
the Coast Guard. Now you're saying the Coast Guard was responsible for capturing them? The Coast Guard. They fucking, would they get an amphibious fucking ship or something like that goes on land too?
Court, we get a warrant, we seize the boats. And we think this is tremendous leverage.
And he continues to conflate the boats with Maduro. Are we living on the same planet where the fucking an oil vessel, an oil tanker is not the same, and like the stopping or the seizing of the oil tankers given to you authority by the judge or whatever is not the same as kidnapping the fucking president and the first lady of the country? I mean, can we all live in reality here? Can we just go back to where it's like, okay, and again, I will say this. The one thing that has been made very fucking clear to me in this attack with this action and the response to it is just how fucking separated, just how fucking far apart the two sides of this country still are. Right. So just how detached from reality and how willing the other side is to, again, excuse and defend shit that they were directly lied to about. The ability to lie to their own people, the ability to come out and act like they care about the Venezuelan people, as again, they're actively denigrating and demonizing the same population of people inside the United States and actively wanting them deported back to Venezuela, talking about immigration, but destabilizing nations that will actively lead to more mass migration, excuse me. These are all things that don't add up. These are all things that you can't conflate. You can't be a Republican and defend the same shit that is now going on with what you've been told, what you've been promised, what you've espoused in the past. Doesn't line up, doesn't add up. We're not buying it. And this just goes to show the reaction to this action and like the no new wars people, the America first people, the president of peace people justifying and defending this. You can see just how detached from reality the two sides are. Okay. We are based in a fact-based world. We are based in an evidence-based world where what we see and what what we see with our own see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears, has a huge impact, a huge effect, and not what other people go and tell us to think about that same action, like they do on the right, and they propagandize and they try to, that's not what Donald Trump really meant to say. What he meant to say was this, that type of shit. No, well, what I heard is what I heard. What I saw is what I saw. So I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm not going to be fucking swayed off of what I just saw. And so you guys can try to instill upon me your beliefs in this bullshit. That's not going to fucking happen. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate, the two sides. And again, as I've said before, MAGA is just like a star in a light bulb, right? They're going to be the brightest. They're going to be the most fanatical. They're going to be the most annoying. They're going to be the most dangerous. And they're going to be the most hypocritical as this fucking base gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And Donald Trump's time on earth gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And the grip on the Republican Party gets weaker and weaker and weaker. That's what's going to happen. Just like in World War II, the most fanatical people were left in Nazi Germany at the end, right? Those motherfuckers would have done anything at the end, even though it had been blatantly clear from the beginning that they were lied to, that they were used, that they were manipulated, that they were thrown away. Right, with the Nero decree, where Adolf Hitler basically said, destroy everything, destroy the railroads, destroy the bridges, destroy the water, destroy all the infrastructure. And Albert Speer was like, well, that would basically just put every single one of the German citizens back into the Dark Age, right? That would set them back God knows how many generations, God knows how many people would die. And it was actually Albert Speer that didn't follow through on the orders of Hitler to enact the Nero decree to the extent that it was supposed to be enacted. Right? Again, this is him talking about destroying his own people at the end of the war, and that was still, at that moment in time, the most fanatical group of people still left to defend those type of actions. Same thing's going to happen here with the MAGA base. Same thing here is going to happen with the MAGA cult. The more they're outed, the more they see their grip on power fucking waning and fleeing from the grasp of reality that they fucking, the delusions that they live in. That's when they're going to become the most dangerous, the most fanatical, the most outspoken, right? The fucking star that is brightest just before it burns out, the light bulb that's brightest just before it burns out. And that's what we can expect, right? That's why we're seeing, things get exponentially more crazy in Donald Trump's second term, in Donald Trump's later years, in his fucking last years on this planet. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. Doesn't give a fuck anymore. And that's exactly how his base, like that trickles down to his base as well. That attitude, that fucking, that dangerous fucking espousal of rhetoric trickles down to his base. And we're going to continue to see that happen again as, different factions start to pop up, whether it's America First, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, whatever the fuck, right? Those bases, those fucking things that have now, formed are even worse than the MAGA cult. The America First people, 10 times worse than MAGA. And that's what we're going to continue to see. It's going to continue to shift its fucking, to shift the popularity and who's kind of leading it now that it's kind of like a free-for-all on the Republican side, a free-for-all in the MAGA fucking sphere. That you're going to start to see more and more and more of that. All right. Let's dive into our next kind of topic of discussion, which was what? I'm not 100% sure, to tell you the truth. What did we leave off on? The Meet the Press. My apologies. We can put that back up. I just kind of wanted to bring that. All right, let's go into it.
Crippling leverage, which we intend to continue to use until we see the changes that we need to see that are benefit to the American people. And by the way, we believe to the people of Venezuela as well.
But Mr. Secretary, I think there's a lot of questions about who the point people are during this transition. President Trump said, we're going to run the country. So
Kristen, they don't have a fucking plan. They don't know. And there was a good meme going around. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it within time. But there was a good meme going around, and it was like, who posted? I think it was I think it was on Blue Sky. I think it was I'm not even sure. Basically what it was a picture of a horse, right? The back end of the horse was very well drawn. You can definitely tell what it was. It looked like a fucking beautiful artist had done it. And basically that was the removal of Maduro, right? That was representative of the, the extraction, the kidnapping of Maduro. And then basically what it was, it turned into, I don't know, like a fucking preschooler's drawing in the front of the horse. And that was to represent the plan or lack thereof of this administration for what comes next. And again, anybody that knows anything about these situations knows that therein lies the problem. What is the plan? What is the plan for the population? What is the plan to help them out? Do we have the fucking, just think of how much resources, how much time and energy it would take away from the fucking officials in the United States that have, serious problems they're facing here to, again, rebuild, to undertake the rebuilding of an entire fucking country, to undertake the rebuilding of an entire oil industry, right? And that's supposed to be something that everybody's okay with. Again, knowing what we know is going on in this country, the problems that we face in this country, and MAG is okay with the billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars that'll be sent down there to rebuild Venezuela, as they're actively trying to, again, deport these people from the fucking country. But yeah, that I think it was I forget who it was. I think it was Adam. What the fuck's the guy's name? Not Adam Schiff. Adam Kinzinger, maybe. Yeah, here it is. 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 So this is the representation. So this is the back end of the horse. Oops, sorry. Hold on. My apologies. So yeah, you can see here, this is posted by Adam Kinzinger. I knew I'd find it. So the back end of the horse looks like it's beautifully drawn, done by an artiste, right? You can definitely tell what it is. And then at the front of it, kind of gets a little more fucking freaky, right? Kind of gets a little more, unclear of what we're looking at, so to speak. And that is the plans for the future of Venezuela. And that is a perfect and accurate representation of what the United States has for plans for the future of what they just undertook. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just how it is. And unfortunately, that's why this typically leads to the downfall, to the degradation of the country that we go into, because we don't have the plans to implement. We don't have the proper goals. We don't have the proper fucking, we don't have the good intentions that we supposedly have to help the people of these countries. That's why. Let me throw this back on. My apologies. Where does it keep going? I keep losing it. Hold on 1 second. How did I? Oh, there it is. Back at it.
Secretary of State and National Security Advisor.
Oh, that wasn't it either. That's him with Stephanopoulos. How the fuck? How did I just lose? We were just watching it. Let me see if I can find that again. Good grief. History. Sorry, I must have exited out by mistake. Let me go back to where I said that. Who's been helped? That's not it. Oh, here it is right here. All right, we're back at it. My apologies.
Secretary Hegseth, who are those people who will be running the country specifically?
And again, these are very specific questions. These are not like generalized questions. Who's running the country? President said we're running the country. As the United States, we are now in charge of Venezuela, says the president of the United States. It's been fucking reported that it's you that he looked at, that he pointed at, that has been tasked with fucking leading Venezuela. Okay, so is it you? Is it Pete Kegsbreath? Who the fuck is it? Which drunken, incompetent fool is now in charge of fucking Venezuela per the, request of the president of the United States? Please answer the question.
Well, it's not running, it's running policy. The policy with regards to this. We want Venezuela to move in a certain direction.
That's not what that means. And again, even if you're running just the policy of a country, you are running the country. What do you think the fucking country is based off of? The policies given by the government. So what the fuck is this obfuscation bullshit? Like we're second graders and we don't understand what's going on? If you're affecting the policy, if you're enacting policy, if you're fucking talking about changing policy, you're running the fucking country. So who's running it? Who's talking about the changes in policy? Who's enacting those changes in policy? Who's calling them directly and talking to them on the phone about the directions in the way this country is going to be run? Answer the fucking questions.
Because not only do we think it's good for the people of Venezuela, it's in our national interest. It either touches on something that's a threat to our national security or touches on something
and that's again, the justification that they continue to use, the drugs, the deaths, the national security interest of the United States, which again, if that's what we're going by as a fucking, as a baseline on who we're attacking, who we're kidnapping, there are so many more countries on the list that we should be fucking going after. And again, not my recommendation. This is just my, to prove the hypocrisy of it. That are fucking much higher on the list of deaths caused, brutality to their own people, national security interest to the United States than Nicolas Maduro.
Beneficial or harmful.
And are you involved in that transition,
and so obviously
Secretary?
I'm very involved in this. Well, of course. I mean, I think everyone knows I'm pretty involved on politics in this hemisphere. Obviously, as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, very involved in all these elements. The Department of War plays a very important role here, along with
Okay, what is the role? That's what we're asking. That's the question. What's the role? You saying you have a big pot in it does not define your role. We're asking for specific, explicit, definitional usage of your fucking role. What is the role that you now fucking have as it pertains to running Venezuela? What is it? What's the legal justification that you now fucking have those powers? Answer the fucking question. Kristen, make them answer the fucking question.
Department of Justice, for example, because they're the ones that have to go to court. So this is a team effort by the entire national security apparatus of our country, but it is running this.
Okay, so our entire administration of the United States is now the entire administration of Venezuela, is what you want us to believe? So there's not one singular person. It's basically we've now given up on trying to govern the United States, and now our main focus on is governing Venezuela because of the profits from the oils.
Okay. And the goal of the policy is to see changes in Venezuela that are beneficial to the United States.
Giovanna says, I'm a citizen. They took my comment that way too. I don't think they came off as death threats, but I truly think they are going to come after me because I ain't the only one saying or thinking it, but who knows? I'm not sure. Maybe I picked up in the middle of the conversation, but hopefully nothing happens to you, Giovanna. We do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. All right, sorry.
First and foremost, because that's who we work for, but also we believe beneficial for the people of Venezuela who have suffered tremendously. We want a better future for Venezuela, and we think a better future for the people of Venezuela also is stabilizing for the region and makes the neighborhood we live in a much better and safer place.
The fucking neighborhood we live in, get a grip on yourself. They're not fucking next door neighbors. You know what I mean? Like, what? This whole fucking thing is just asinine from start to finish. There is absolutely no clear-cut plan. He continuously talking about stealing the profits from the oil industry shows me and tells me absolutely nothing about how they want to help the fucking Venezuelan people. And again, this is just a little bit of the response. This is another one from CNN here. And this is talking about who is the Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, just to kind of give you a little bit of information on who she is, right? And some of the stuff that she said in response to this. Let's dive into just a little bit of this.
Venezuela's Supreme Court has ordered Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to assume the powers and duties of the acting president. The order was announced just last night after the court determined that Maduro can no longer exercise his functions as president. Rodriguez has demanded Maduro's release. As CNN's Paula Newt reports, she struck a defiant tone on her first day leading the country.
Just hours after the dramatic extraction of her president by U.S. forces, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez was the picture of defiance. Surrounded by regime loyalists, she called the U.S. operation barbaric.
And again, this is the acting president. Does this sound like it's going to be a fucking cakewalk? Does this sound like they're like, hey, you know, we're going to work side by side with the government of the United States? We're welcome to, please come on in. We welcome you. Does this sound like at all it's going to be the cakewalk that Donald Trump and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth think it's going to be? Do you think there's going to be no strife, no bloodshed, no reaction, no retaliation from people that do support Maduro? Like, I believe, Delcy Rodriguez?
Nicolas Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. Known to many in the country simply as Delcy, Rodriguez has been an influential and reliable regime enforcer for nearly 2 decades.
So again, a regime enforcer for 2 decades. I believe she's like the energy minister, which again is a huge fucking position considering, you know, what Venezuela is known for, the oil supply, the oil reserves and shit. So again, somebody that's been in and around Maduro, somebody that clearly is friendly with, backs him. So it doesn't seem like everything's fucking peachy keen, right? Doesn't seem like everything's going to be A-okay and everybody's going to be welcomed with open arms, even though you are seeing the celebratory mood from, again, different portions, different populations of the Venezuelan people. But again, that's not to say that all of this is done. All of this is finished. Everything's done. It's all been fucking cleared up. We have plans, crystal clear plans. That's anything but the case.
She began in the government of Hugo Chavez, faithfully implementing the tenets of Chavismo.
Where have we heard Hugo Chavez before? Is this going to get Sidney Powell back out of her fucking basement? Is this going to get her out of her coffin? The Kraken? Is she going to release the Kraken again because Hugo Chavez is once again in the news?
A nationalist populist movement that brought the Venezuelan economy to its knees. When Chavez died in 2013, she remained an assertive voice within President Maduro's government. Uncompromising in her rhetoric, she vilified the Venezuelan opposition and frequently warned the country about the threat of foreign intervention. Crucially, as energy minister, she also has been a steady hand in funneling Venezuela's dwindling energy revenues to the regime. Seen here last month with state workers, she says...
So somebody just as supportive of and nearly as responsible for the degradation of Venezuela is now the acting president still. So again, you see how it's just kind of shifted from one person to the next. So again, what's the next step? Are we going to remove Delcy Rodriguez? Are we going to kidnap her? What's the next plan here? What's the plan of attack?
We have something to tell Mr. Trump. Venezuela doesn't owe the U.S. anything. And yet...
And again, that's in direct response to Donald Trump saying that they owe reparations, that they stole oil from us, and that they're going to pay heavily for it. That's why he's been talking about taking over this thing. He's been using it as justification for quite some time. Was it in his first administration? Let me see if I can do this. It's probably not going to be easily found because of Venezuela oil Trump first term. Maybe that'll bring it up. Because, he talked about this very explicitly in his first term, I believe it was. If not, it might have been campaigning up for his second term where, he basically said, oh, we would have just kept the oil. What, you know what I mean? Let's see. It's going to be tough to find because it's probably buried under the reporting, the new reporting from this. But let's see. That's the new one. Let's see if I can find that old clip real quick. 4 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, see, there's so much reporting going on about this the new Venezuela activity. It's going to be buried. Let's see if I can do. What else could I do to bring that up? Trump says he would have taken the oil. Trump says he would have taken the oil. Sorry for that spelling. See, it's got to be in here. I mean, it's probably a prominent clip that people are playing right now to kind of utilize and talk about how he's been speaking about this for quite some time. Is this why? Yeah, I think this is it right here. Is this it right here? Let me see if this is it. What the fuck? Where'd it go? Here it is. Sound.
From Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. But we're buying oil.
And again, if any dictator is going to get rich, it's going to be Donald Trump, which is why he's now calling for the fact that he deserves the $50 million bounty that was put on the head of Nicolas Maduro. He is now actively saying that Donald Trump himself should get that $50 million fucking dollars as the president of the United States of America. I don't see how you could write it. How could you write that as being any more corrupt, any more blatant? Right? I'm not sure you could. I'm really not sure you could. But yeah, just to show you once again that this is something that's been on Donald Trump's mind for a long time. Hey, let's see. Once again, just to drill it home. Here you go.
But we're buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying.
So again, I asked the Venezuelan people if Donald Trump's talking about the collapse of your nation, the collapse of your country, and sucking out all the oil, is that a good thing for you guys? Is the collapse of your country gonna benefit you? Are you gonna be able to profit from the collapse of your country? Are you going to be able to, is there more job opportunities going to come from the collapse of your country? Is it going to be the fact that the American companies are probably going to shift down, the workers that they want, and you're not going to get the job opportunities that may arise from any of this anyways? Is that going to help your country? Because he's not talking about benefiting your country. That was not talking about the benefit of Venezuela. He wanted to see it destroyed. He wanted to see it go under so that he can again go in and pillage and plunder, right? That he's not speaking about it on good terms. Just in case, one more time.
But we're buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been.
And when he left and it was ready to collapse, that was at the doings. That was the plan by Donald Trump. That was what he wanted to see happen. So again, do you think that now all of a sudden Donald Trump has the best interest of the Venezuelan people at heart? Do you think all of a sudden the United States has learned from all its past, the past mistakes that it's made in these incursions and the actions that it's undertaken and the regime changes that it's fucking tried in the past? Can we learn some historical references from that we could take and say, hey, the fucking United States, even if it ain't Donald Trump fucking lead it, not the best actor, not the best at fucking setting up and helping other countries when, again, stuff like this is enacted. I have to say, you know what I mean? So again, let's dive into, I'll put this back on the screen just so we can, I think there's a couple more minutes of this and then I'll see what else there is to dive into. I think there was a couple, see if there's anything happening on the breaking news front. I'll start checking it. Let me just throw this back on the screen so you guys can see it. Throw this back up there and we'll get into it.
Rodriguez has for many years been sanctioned by Canada, the EU, and the United States. CNN attempted to question her in 2016 after a CNN investigation uncovered a scheme to illegally sell Venezuelan passports out of the country's embassy in Iraq.
Oh, so somebody just as corrupt, somebody just as influential. I'm sure somebody that has ample amounts of money tucked away, considering she's the energy minister and the corruption that happens in Venezuela. But that's the person that's actively still fucking, supposedly the acting president, unless that's changed since I got on the air, And that's who, again, we're having to deal with. So when Donald Trump says this is done, it's over, it's a done deal, it's a cakewalk, now we can just fucking do anything we want, and that we rule the country, doesn't seem to be the case as far as what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? So let's just see. I'll throw this on the screen. Let's see if there's anything else we can dive into as far as news, updates, anything like that. Trump golfs after missing key Epstein files deadline. Trump confronted by Epstein protest sign on 13th golf trip in 16 days. Let's see what the sign said. I'm dying to see what the sign said. Let's see here. Trump golfs after missing key Epstein files deadline. Where's the sign? Is there a sign? Missing deadline, no compliance. As Trump traveled to golf, he was confronted by a visible public criticism tied to Epstein controversial. Pool reporters observed a person along a motorcade holding a sign that read Epstein, Epstein, Epstein as he's going to golf. So the guy's just not getting away from it. Oh my God, look how fucking horrible he looks. Holy shit. Dead man walking. Dead man. He matches his shirt and his hat when he doesn't have his orange on. And how many Cokes do you need? He's got about 13 Cokes in front of him. I know I shouldn't talk. I drink a lot of Coke myself, but still, I don't look like that yet. All right, so let's see what else we can get into. Let's see what else. Other news so Aaron, sources familiar with the Epstein files release tells me that Congress has yet to receive the Justice Department's explanation for the Epstein files redaction. This is another violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. This is due to this is posted by the Oversight Dems. They posted, "We are sure it's just a coincidence, but today is the statutory date for the DOJ to explain its redactions in the Epstein files productions. We have not forgotten, and we will not let up, regardless of the president's new unconstitutional actions." Again, this ongoing, the strike in Venezuela being used as the distraction. Let's see here. Jim, Rep. McGovern says, "I, for one, am shocked that the president who renamed the Department of War has, in fact, been a warmonger." Fox, it's been notable, again, that the president was talking to and wanting peace for last year. U.S. struck 7 different countries around the world. That does not include the dozens of strikes in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific against those alleged drug boats. Let's see. Is this on Fox he's saying this? You can fucking be damn sure this guy ain't going to be voted back in. Let's see. Is that what he's saying here?
But again, we did not hear from President Trump today. We have not heard from him since New Year's Eve. But it is notable, again, that the president was talking about wanting peace. And last year, Chanley, the U.S. struck 7 different countries around the world. That does not include the dozens of strikes in the Caribbean, Eastern Pacific against those alleged drug boats. We've been seeing this buildup, and once these buildups happen, very rarely do they stand down. And we haven't seen any reports of U.S. military forces going home. We've seen a few flights return, but again,
I don't know who this guy is, but he definitely just lost his card to report on Fox News. You can't accurately report the news on Fox and expect to be invited back. You can't. You can't talk about how many countries we've attacked. You can't talk about all, the ramping up of drone and missile strikes as, Fox News is trying to purport Donald Trump as the president of peace. No new wars. It's just not going to happen, my friend. You can't do it. You can't do it. Idiot. All right, let's see what else we got here. That's more from the Stephanopoulos. He said you cannot credibly argue that drug trafficking charges demand invasion in one case while issuing a pardon in another. What's your response? Rubio says, in the case of Maduro, look, it's very simple. The guy was indicted. We already watched that clip in its extent. That's the one that we did see. Let's see here. Anything else coming up? Keith Olbermann, does Marco seem a little worked up lately? Altered state of mind? Yeah, he definitely does because he doesn't have the answers to the questions that he's being asked. Midas Touch reports Marco Rubio looking very bad here, very bad. As we continue to point out on the show. More about that, more from Trump. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's see if Aaron's got anything to report. Let's see here. Anything popping? No, he's got more from Stephanopoulos. Trump's best foreign policy, not starting any new wars. Whoops, that's a. Well, you're going to have to take that one down. Let's see. Is the Cuban government, the Trump administration, is the next target? Ooh, let's see what he says here, because this was a little bit more from the Kristen Welker interview. I want to see if, because again, Donald Trump has talked about actively going into Mexico, talking about actively starting wars and attacking other countries that are responsible for quote unquote drugs coming into the United States, which again includes a lot of countries, some big countries. And that would be definitely something that we'd need to pay attention to. But let's see what he says in this response. Again, he's questioned, is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target? Let's see what he says.
Go bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be.
All right, so Cuba's next. Okay, Cuba is next. No, Mexico's next. No, that's no. Cuba's next. No, Colombia's next. No, not Colombia's next. China's next because of the precursors of fentanyl. So we'll go into China, and then we'll do Colombia, and then we'll do Cuba, and then, I don't know, should we do Colombia before Cuba? I don't know. Who should we kill first? Should we kill the Colombians or the Cubans first, guys? What do you think? The administration wants to know. Marco Rubio is trying to figure that out now. I think he wants to know who we should invade and kidnap next. Apparently, it's the Cubans. So Cubans beware. And apparently, there's going to be some celebratory moods from the Cubans coming next. And then we're going to see the total degradation of the country if we're following in the footsteps with what the United States has enacted in the past. But again, Cuba is now next on the list, in case you're wondering. Oh, that's not what I wanted to show, but this is. How did this get on the screen? What the fuck just happened? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is.
Right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro.
Is that the legal justification nowadays, is just not being big fans of people? Is that how we're using the legal justification now to invade and kidnap people? We're not big fans. They don't play ball with us. We don't really like the way he holds his fork. You know, have you seen the way he enters the vehicle? It's unsightly. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna kidnap him. We're gonna kill as many as 40 people. Again, in case you joined us late, you know, I'm sure a lot of people coming in late. I just want to throw this on your screen as well, just in case you haven't heard of, you know, the death toll associated with this attack. This is a New York Times article from this morning. Venezuelan officials say at least 40 people were killed. If not, that total has probably risen because, again, this was put out this morning before we went on air. And again, as the rubble clears, as more and more people go to inspect the damage, as more and more people are noticed as missing and whatnot, I'm sure that toll will probably rise as well. But yes, 40 people were killed in the U.S. attack, and that is both civilian and military personnel, as well as a large part of Nicolas Maduro's defense team, security team here, as reported by Reuters. So this says large part of Maduro's security team killed in U.S. actions, Venezuela defense minister says. You can see here as it's been reported. So again, if you just joined us late and you think this was like, you know, in and out, nobody was hurt, nothing happened, then you're wrong. It's we absolutely are responsible for more death and destruction in another fucking sovereign land, in another sovereign territory, in another sovereign country. And yeah, it's there's no way we can get around that. There's no way you can state otherwise. And it's just the reality of the matter. It just really is. So what do you say? Was there a couple more minutes that, let's see here. I'll go into this again because maybe there's a couple minutes that we didn't get to as far as this is concerned.
Entire internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Delcy Rodriguez mentioned that the ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuela.
Right. So now we have to go after the Cubans for colonization as we're doing imperialism, as we're doing colonization at this moment in time.
Bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure they're not.
Shut him up then, Kristen. I can hear you in the background saying, all right. Want to cut him off. Cut him off. Shut him up. Tell him, okay, that's not the question I asked. You're giving me the answer. We're directly looking at Cuba as the next fucking target. You're giving me all the information I want to know. No other bullshit is needed. Thank you, sir. Shut the fuck up.
No traitors. Those are all Cubans.
All right, Secretary.
Go bonkers.
All right, no follow-up on that one. Seems you answered all the questions I had on that subject. That seems good enough for me. Good enough for you guys? That's good. Cuba's next. Fucking idiots. Can't stand these fucking people. Oh, that's what I should play too. We'll end on this because this was fucking pretty spot on as well. Did you guys catch Zelensky's reaction to the strikes, to the kidnapping? Did you guys catch that? Let's see if I can throw this on the screen for you guys. Yeah, let me see. Play this one.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Let me put this one up there, make it full screen for you guys, because Zelensky had, I believe, one of the more perfect reactions to this whole thing. So I'll play that for you now. Check this out.
Zelensky has suggested the United States to take action against what he called dictators after U.S. forces captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro in an overnight military operation. Zelensky did not hold back and made remarks after meeting with European national security advisors on Saturday.
How should one react to this? What can I say? If it's possible to deal with dictators this way, then the U.S. knows what to do next.
Russia,
right? I mean, that's what I've been saying. You can look at here. I'll go to my. I hate doing this. I really do, but just to kind of toot my own horn for a second here, if I may. You can go to my YouTube right now, and there's a video that I put out. There's a couple shorts that I've put out since this happened, in which I'm basically saying the same exact thing that Zelensky just said, of course, in different terms and different words, but the same thing. Like I've been saying on this show, why aren't we in the Kremlin? Why haven't we sent special forces into the Kremlin? If we just want to use the kidnapping of the 20 to 100,000 Ukrainian children as justification alone, we could do that. Or the number of dead Ukrainians that Vladimir Putin and the fucking Russians are responsible for. The oppression to their own people. If you're talking about the oppressive forces, the oppressive way that Nicolas Maduro ruled Venezuela, then you have ample fucking evidence to talk about how Vladimir Putin oppressively runs Russia. Right. So again, if we're talking about, and none of the talking points actually make sense coming from Donald Trump, the Republicans, and Marco Rubio, but if you actually do try to boil it down, there's no justification for it, and there's no through line, right? There's just no fucking way that you can say, okay, this is the policy, and we're going to enact it all over the place. It's picking and choosing which you want to fucking, again, as we're kidnapping Nicolas Maduro, Vladimir Putin gets a fucking red carpet reception laid out by the military of the United States. If that doesn't tell you, it doesn't show you the difference in which we're approaching these two situations, then I'm not sure what will. But, you can see here, Maduro gets captured, Putin gets a red carpet was one of the videos that I put out just to kind of, first things first. Nicolas Maduro, terrible son of a bitch, awful fucking guy, corrupt, violent, brutal, a dictator, whatever you want to call it. All the things that we know about Nicolas Maduro, true things. Brutalized people in his own country, disappeared people in his own country, using paramilitary groups operating outside the law to control and manipulate people inside of his country, and has been doing so since he got into power. Now, that being fucking said, let's take a look around the world. Are there other people that fit that mold as well? Could we look at, people like Vladimir fucking Putin as a brutal dictator, as somebody who disappears and kills people in his own country and has been doing so for generations at this point? What about Xi Jinping? Right? Is he responsible for the disappearing, for the murder, for the brutality of his own citizens? Is he responsible for the precursors to fentanyl coming to the United States? Another check mark. But if we're talking about deaths in general, if we're talking about responsibility for deaths, then we should be in the fucking Kremlin tonight, because it's not about the fucking drugs. It's not about saving lives. It's about fucking oil. It's about profit. It's about the takeover of these fucking countries. It's about everything but what this regime is telling you it's about. So fuck Nicolas Maduro. No problems with anybody. Happy for some of the Venezuelans that are celebrating the fucking freedom that they're seeing at this very moment in time. But the people that are old enough, us Americans and people around the world that are old enough, that remembered fucking Iraq, that remembered all the other incursions into Central and South America, it hasn't resulted well for those people. It hasn't resulted well for those fucking countries. We were lied to. We were lied to about why we went there. We didn't fucking get in and out like Trump is saying right now we're going to do. We're going to run Venezuela until they install the new leader. Well, that hasn't been historically fucking accurate pertaining to what the United States has usually undertaken when they do shit like this in foreign sovereign countries. So again, the people saying Maduro's a fucking dictator and a murderer and a thug, you're 100% right. But that in no way justifies this action, especially with the rhetoric and the bullshit that we've been told by this administration, when in reality, we know what the actual fucking reason for it is. If we're going to use this against Maduro, why the fuck are we treating Putin with kid gloves, right? Why the fuck are we allowing Ukrainians to die by the thousands? You can't fucking justify it. You can't put one and one together. It makes absolutely no fucking sense, because if we cared about saving fucking lives, if we cared about helping people, if we cared about upholding democracy, we would have sent the fucking special forces into the Kremlin a long fucking time ago. All right, so again, I won't bore you guys with my videos there, but just to kind of show you that, we're kind of on the same page there as the thinking is concerned, Zelensky and I, and obviously that we've been on top of this here at Blunt Politics since this happened. So go check out the shorts that I've put out, check out the videos. I really do appreciate your support in all of those different areas, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, or Instagram, whatever your main platform is, whatever the platform that you choose to watch on the most. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. It doesn't matter which one you watch on. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And hopefully, as more information comes from this and we can make it more apparent that there's no plan and that this isn't going to be beneficial to the Venezuelan people, we'll continue to accurately report on that, as well as all of the other things happening both inside the United States and outside of the United States. We're going to continue to hammer home and continue to hammer Donald Trump on Epstein. We're going to continue to hammer ICE on the actions that they're perpetrating inside this country. We're going to continue to hammer Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump's treatment of Vladimir Putin, as well as this new action undertaken here and potential other actions in places like Cuba, in places like Mexico, in places like Colombia. I wouldn't put it out of the the realm of possibility for this administration, the No New Wars administration, the President of Peace administration, the America First administration is what they like to be called. But yes, thank you guys all so much. Let's get into thanking some people here on the Venmos. Like I said, there are things that are happening behind the scenes that I'm not going to get into, which, implore me, which, give me the need to, again, ask you guys for all of the support that you are willing to give to a channel like this. I really do appreciate it. I really do I really do acknowledge how much you guys have supported this channel throughout the years, and I can't thank you enough for that. But, just to kind of show you once again, there's a Venmo up in the corner. Send a buck or two. It goes a long way to help the channel. You can sign up for a YouTube membership just underneath me or at patreon.com/Boston Brian. But yes, if I could ask you for some assistance, I would greatly appreciate it, as there are some unforeseen circumstances happening behind the scenes, and I would greatly appreciate all of the support I could get. So thank you guys very much. Let's get into the Venmos and thanking some people. Congratulate you guys on being so supportive of channels and communities like this, and I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, moms, thank you so much for the weekly tithing. I do appreciate that. She says, oh, my weekly tithing, you are the best. I knew you were going to say that. I really do appreciate that. And that goes for moms. That goes for Yakov. That goes for Damon as well. That goes for Linda. That goes for Elaine. Allison, Nancy, that's from the last few days where you guys have been incredibly supportive and generous. Like I said, I think we're hitting our stride here on Blunt Politics. I really do. The channel's growing faster. We're getting more views on the channel. We're getting more live viewers on the live streams as of recently, I should say, excuse me. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving me the opportunity, for giving me the chance to kind of bring you guys the news in some way, shape, or form. Even add this to your other daily routines of other shows that you watch. I'm not saying that you have to just watch here and get all your information here. I'm not that naive or fucking narcissistic at all. But if you, again, accompany this with all of the other great progressive commentators and progressive commentators, the YouTubers that we have on here and in different spaces, I think it will go a long way in keeping you informed and, giving you a good community to be a part of. So I really do appreciate it. Let's get into the Venmos. Oh, you guys are incredible. Thank you guys so much. Maggie, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. YouTube members are hugely appreciated. They are the backbone of this community, along with the Patreon members and the people that consistently contribute through super chat or super sticker, all of those ways. It's amazing that you guys are here and show up in support of this channel, and I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. So thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Berkeley. I appreciate you, B. You broke the Venezuela news to me the other night, so I guess our algorithms are synced up. Have a great show. Yeah, I heard my phone go I heard my phone going off. I was actually sleeping, and I heard the fucking phone going off, and I opened it, and credit where credit is due. It was actually Mel that was all over it. She was on top of it. She had already been posting videos and, other sites that have been reporting it. So she was way ahead of the game on that one. So credit where credit is due. And again, where I woke up, I saw my phone and it was just kind of exploded. And I just kind of gave like a quick update, quick, fill in for everybody to keep you up to speed, because I knew people would be watching it the next morning. I think it was like 12:45 here on the West Coast, if I wasn't mistaken. So obviously really early in the morning on the East Coast. So I just wanted to give you guys something to wake up to so you could be a little bit more informed and not as surprised with the news that you were going to see. So Berkeley, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support for not only this channel, but for other channels as well. That goes for Frida. Thank you for the $26.66. I really do appreciate that. I have to say that is by far and away the first time I've gotten that super chat. And I got to say, that is all you now, Frida. You own that one. I appreciate it. Let's make this year a year to remember. Glad you are here, Brian. And I am glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that so many people are involved and continue to be supportive of the democratic values and the democratic way of life and wanting to, see change in the government, see change in the way that people are living their lives. I really do appreciate you guys for sticking with it. I know it's not been easy. I know Donald Trump and the Republicans have done everything they possibly can to try to dissuade you from being involved in politics and to try to, make you angry and upset and detached from all this stuff. So I appreciate you guys. I congratulate you. And, I give you all the respect in the world for staying tuned and staying active. So Frida, that goes for you. That goes for everybody else. Berkeley, Maggie, all of you guys. Slacks, thank you so much as well. Appreciate the $10 there, my brother. Love to you, Mel, Dungaree Dog, Logan. Love to all my fellow Bryantologists. I'm here, but I'll be sharing the show. So thank you all for your kind greetings. Right back at you, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, OG. That goes for Ricky. Oh, Ricky, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. You guys are unbelievable. You really are. I can't thank you enough, Ricky. Huge part of this community. A very valued member. I can't thank you enough. Very much appreciated. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Thank you, DC, as well. Appreciate the in-depth coverage, Brian. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. More of this stuff will be, undoubtedly is to come out. More information, more insights into, again, the death toll, the reaction from other people other than the celebratory mood. When the worries start to kick in, when the reality of what just took place starts to kick in, we'll be sure to cover it here on Blunt Politics. So I appreciate you, DC. Thank you, Colleen, as usual, for the 10. Really do appreciate that, Colleen. Thank you so much. Trump trying to recreate January 6th on the world stage on the 5th anniversary, thinking he matters. F him. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just another one of his power moves where, again, he's just lost total control, total fucking sense of reality, total care for the laws and regulations, total care for what the people think in this country. What's he got to lose at this point, right? He's thrown it all to the wind, and he's got these fucking idiots that support him, that continue to enact these illegal fucking actions. Where are the military people? Where are the fucking admirals? Where are the generals? Where are the fucking people to say, no, this is not the way we do things. You cannot skirt Congress to kidnap fucking presidential leaders. You cannot go in and just murder civilians and military members at your own whim because you don't like the person, right? Where are the military? Where is the military leaders? Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mark, as well. Maria Corina Machado should be allowed to run for president of Venezuela if she chooses to. Yeah, but that's the crazy bitch that wanted fucking Trump to have the fucking Nobel Peace Prize, right? Isn't that her? Forgive me if it's not. Let me see. Yeah, that's her, right? That's her, right? She's the opposition leader. She's the one that said fucking Trump deserved to get the Nobel Peace Prize after she got it, right? Am I mistaken? Let me see here. Just go to the regular live comments. That's her, right? Yeah, it is. All right. Yeah. So that's what I thought. So again, I'm not going to say nobody shouldn't be afforded the ability to run, right? Especially if the people in the government, but Donald Trump's already come out and said that she doesn't have the support. He's explicitly said her, and that the fact that she doesn't have the popularity, she doesn't have the support. So he's pretty much already ruled that out, as far as I can tell from his fucking rhetoric, from what he's said so far. But not only that, but do we want somebody that is pro-Trump, right? Somebody like that running that fucking country? Not to say that we're going to step in and say, no, she can't, but, just to say what will be the ramifications, what will be the outcome if she does. And again, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Trump has already come out and said that she wouldn't have the ability to run the country. She doesn't have the popularity, or along those lines, right? So I appreciate that. Let's get back into it. But yeah, Mark, I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mark. Again, ETTD, pray for Venezuela. I appreciate that as well. Thank you for that. Thank you for those the contributions there, Mark. Both of them, I really do appreciate it. Oh, Wes, thank you so much, buddy. 3333. If you want to live like rich folks, you don't make friends with the poor ones. I once had an uncle tell me it is just as easy to fall in love with a rich girl. Yeah. No. No. Not here, Wes. Not here, Wes. But I do very much appreciate your contributions. Thank you so much for that huge contribution to the channel. I can't wait to see you in the next Zoom. Thank you so much. You always make things lively, always making things interesting, Wes. To say the least. So we appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Romulan 007 as well. This crap reminds me of clear and present danger. And in 4 years, trash like Rubio should look for non-extradition country or find a good lawyer. Yeah, somebody, and that's been said already, and you're 100% right, Romulan, and that's already been said about like Pete Hegseth, right? Since we started undertaking these, illegal strikes and shit like that, people have been saying like, okay, Pete, hope you got a good fucking lawyer. Hope you got an escape route planned when this 4 years is done or whenever Donald Trump's heart decides to stop beating. And yeah, you're absolutely right. This is definitely, the makings of a fucking movie, I'm sure, right? The 4-hour incursion that was the invasion of Venezuela to kidnap Maduro, so that we could install our oil companies, our oil conglomerates in rebuilding the oil infrastructure in Venezuela to steal their profits. I know that's a long title. It's probably too long of a title, but maybe it's like a Monty Python type of movie that they make. That type of title will work. So, but yeah, you're 100% right. It is very movie-like. I wouldn't deny that somebody could absolutely make a full-length feature film on this type of action, on the illegalities of the action as well. But yeah, you're 100% right. These people better find some good fucking lawyers. They better pray to Jesus. They better pray to fucking Jesus that something bigger, something to make us forget about this happens and we all just get like Men in Blacked with the fucking, with the buzzer and we all just like forget about it. They better pray. So I appreciate you, Romulan. Thank you so much. Mark back at it with the gifted membership. Appreciate you, Mark G. Thank you so much for all of your contributions as of late. Really do appreciate it, man. Really fucking appreciate, noticed. We take notice of it and it is appreciated. So don't think we don't notice all of you guys. So appreciate you, Mark. Appreciate you, Carol, as well. George should start wearing one of those Mickey Mouse ear hats for these interviews. Yeah, all of these assholes. You're 100% right, Carol. You're 100% fucking right. At this point, they're all just jokes, right? It all seems like they're doing the interview just for the sake of doing the fucking interview, not for the sake of getting information, not for the sake of informing the American fucking public, but just so they can say they did it. Okay, we asked that question. I did ask twice. He didn't answer it, but let's go on to the next question. I would rather that whole fucking interview be as contentious as fucking humanly possible about one specific question that asshole wouldn't answer than have fucking 17 different questions asked and not one real factual answer given. That would be more beneficial to the people hammering away at Marco Rubio about the legal justification and not his fucking propagandistic response on it than it would be to allow him to, fucking bullshit for 2 minutes, ask again mightily, and then he can bullshit again for another minute, and then we'll go on to the next subject, and they'll never get that question answered, excuse me. But yeah, you're 100% right. They're all fucking cowed. They're all fucking bitch boys nowadays because they're worried about the lawsuits. The corporation's worried about the fucking, the mergers not going through or whatever the fuck they're worried about behind the scenes. So again, this is clear instructions, a clear thing that you could pinpoint from the mainstream media right now that none of them are willing to do the dirty work, or very few of them, I should say. I don't want to say all of them because I never like to generalize any type of people in any specific way. So a lot of them don't like doing their jobs. A lot of them are cowed, and a lot of them don't have the balls to step up to speak to these people the way that they deserve to be spoken to, excuse me. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Jenny Faye as well. Thank you for the 10. Man, the swear jar is the size of an oil drum today. Love the fire. Piss and vinegar. Keep it up, Brian. I hope all the Bryantologists have a wonderful week. Yeah, the swear jar is getting bigger. The swear jar is definitely getting bigger. The more that the Trump regime and the fucking followers get more radical, right? More sycophantic, then I'm sure that swear jar is going to continue to grow. At some point, we're going to have one of those big Poland Spring bottles behind me just full to the brim with money from the swear jar. So thank you, Jenny Faye. I appreciate that. I'm glad you noticed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Intune Orange, for the $2. I like your attitude, Brian, and I like your viewership. I appreciate your your passion for watching shows like this. I appreciate you just as much as you appreciate me, I can assure you. So thank you, Intune Orange, for everything that you do. Thank you for being here. We very much appreciate you, man. Let's see here. Mark, again. Marco, I am a big boy. Yeah, you can tell he's been thrust into a position that he wasn't ready for, right? You can definitely tell he's thrust into a position that he wasn't really, like, he didn't quite see the fucking forest through the trees. He didn't quite see the position he was going to fucking leave himself in and how, like, high and dry he was going to be left by this administration, because everybody's pointing to him. Donald Trump continues to point to him as being the leader, and I don't think Marco wants that responsibility. I really don't. Let's see here. Mark, thank you again, Mark. Back at it again. I appreciate that. Not big fans, but greed for money too. You're absolutely right. I do appreciate your contributions. Thank you, Mark, again. They are noticed and they are appreciated, dude. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And that goes for who's next? Kyle. What's up, Kyle? You unbelievable bastard, you. Trump is going to do more of this type of war bullshit to win back his base in 2026 so MAGA Republicans, in his mind, can retain majority in the Senate and House. Good luck with that, slobber de butt. Right. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is something that, we've seen presidents, not to this extent or this specific type of action do, but, undertake different actions when their poll numbers are down, so that it could give them a boost in some ways, so that they could either get people to start talking about, the bad stuff they have done for the country, the ways that they have not helped the American people. So you're 100% right. This used as a distraction. I'm not saying this wasn't undertaken as a distraction, but it's absolutely being used as a distraction. Like, you can see how those two things differ, right? So it's being used as a distraction, but it was not undertaken as one. It was undertaken for a specific reason of profits and to take over a country and to make fucking specific few people really, really rich. But it is also being used as a distraction from what Donald Trump is undertaking in this country, and also the obstruction and the hiding of the Epstein files as well. So, people going back and forth on that. Yeah, I think you're both kind of right on that aspect. But yes, absolutely, Kyle, you're right. His polling numbers, not only that, but try to get to gain some favorability back with his base. Definitely all things probably considered before this was undertaken. Thank you, Marsha. I appreciate the 2 super chats here. Very much appreciate you, Marsha. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day with your kitty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, JD, as well. Well-earned profanity bonus. Thank you. And everybody's noticing that today. I didn't even notice it myself. So it's just second nature at this point. Just second nature. Thank you, Tamra. Thank you, JD, again. Thank you, Tamra. Thank you, Easy Rider. Really do appreciate you guys and your contributions. Thank you for everything that you do. Easy Reader, excuse me, sorry, and Tamra. I very much appreciate that, both of your contributions. That goes for HRENIUGA. How the fuck do you say that? Henregua? What is a BGN? What is a BGN? BGN currency. BGN is Bulgarian? Wow, that's amazing. What's it called? Bulgarian what? Bulgarian, it's just Bulgarian? Leva, Bulgarian leva. Wow, that's amazing. I appreciate that. I apologize. I'm not sure where to go with the name. Forgive me. But I do very much appreciate that for the Bulgarian leva. That's amazing. That's definitely by far the first time we've received a donation from Bulgaria. If I'm getting that right. Am I getting that right? I don't want to sound like an asshole. So if you're still here, Mr. Can I call you Ren? I'll call you Ren until I'm told otherwise. So if you're still here, Ren, let me know if I'm getting that right. And I do appreciate that. That's amazing. I love always seeing the different places that people are watching from. So I know we have a ton of viewers from, Fish Delight. Thank you. All right. I just want the confirmation. I didn't want to make it seem like I was too ignorant to the fact. But yes, we got a ton of watchers in comparison, to the percentage of viewers from like the UK. We have Australia, Canada, Bulgaria. We got, different places in Europe as well. So it's pretty cool to see that other people from all over the globe are tuned in and somehow found Blunt Politics and Boston Brian. It's pretty fucking cool. So yes, absolutely. Very much appreciated. Cool to see that we have support from all over the globe. Very much appreciate that, Ren. And forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that name as well, but I'll definitely need some insight on how to pronounce that. Please give me some instruction. All right, let's see who was next. Who did I leave out? Thank you, Ren, again. I appreciate that. Yep. And then it was Curious Cat. Thank you for the 10. Great show. Much appreciated, Curious. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Is that a real cat too? Because those are the most amazing eyes I've ever seen in a cat, if that's real. That's crazy. Love it though. Love it though. Thank you again. Appreciate you, Laurie, as well, for being here for 9 months. I was vacationing last week. Thank you for updating me. Yeah. See, there's always people that are, either, involved in other aspects of what's going on in their personal life, didn't have the time or the inclination really to be as involved, or people vacationing, right? Didn't really want to be checking the news on their vacation. So we always have to remind ourselves that not everybody is as kind of politically active or as knowledgeable in all of these things as all of us are here. right? So we got to make sure that we don't, shun people or fly over any pieces of information that others are definitely wanting to know. So thank you, Laurie. Appreciate that. Glad we could keep you informed. Thank you, Marsha, as well. Boston Brian, Mods, Briantologist in chat. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. I think you got everybody covered on that one, Marsha. Please tell the kitty I said hello. Give her a couple belly rubs and a treat for me. That would be fantastic. Thank you, Arizona Sunflowers. I appreciate you. Thank you, Arizona. Good to see you as well. I love seeing all these same names and faces and people come back. It means we're doing something right here, at least on Blunt Politics. So again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, if you just watch, if you find yourself coming back, but you click over and you see you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. It's free. It costs you nothing. It doesn't change anything. It just really goes to help the channel. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. Like I said, after hitting 15K, we've kind of, ramped up how many followers we're getting a little bit, not substantially, but it's definitely ramped up, which is why I think we're kind of starting to hit our stride here, whether on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And I can only thank you guys for that help and the support that you guys have created to make that possible. So Arizona Sunflowers, Intune Orange, all of you guys, can't thank you enough. Marsha, Laurie, everybody that donated today, Curious Cat, Easy Reader, Tamra, all of you guys, JD, Kyle, Jenny Faye, Carol, Mark, all of you. Thank you so much for all of your contributions. I know it's a shitty part of this line of work and having to rely upon you guys to keep the channel going and to, again, pay what is looked at as a salary or whatever you want to look at it as from doing this. But again, it's extremely important. You know how tough things are in this country right now. You know how difficult things are. And that's why, again, if only I ask if you are in the financial position to do so, please think about contributing to this show and shows like it. I really do. I really do need it. I really do. So please, please, please think about contributing to independent creators like myself. It goes a long way. And I will see you guys on the next show. Today is Sunday, so I will see you guys on the Tuesday show. I really do appreciate it. And again, one of these weeks, we're just going to add the Monday show so we don't have the days off because there's too much to cover nowadays, too much to get through. So we're going to be here in your face all the time as much as possible. And I can't thank you enough for supporting the show. Please hit that like button on the way out. Share the show on Blue Sky. Share the show on all of the all the social media platforms that you're on so other people can get the chance to see it too, or at least know about it. That would be great, and they can make their own decisions on whether or not they want to watch or subscribe. But yes, thank you guys, all of you, every single one of you, for everything that you've done and continue to do, not only for this channel, but for democracy on the whole. It means a lot, and it shows a lot, and there's a lot more people that think like you than you believe. There's a lot more people in this country that want to see a change than you might think, and we have the momentum. We have the numbers, so let's get this done going into midterms. I appreciate it. We're going to have a wonderful 2026 here, and it's only with the help of you people that we can get that done. So I'm out of here. I appreciate it. I'll see you Tuesday. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blood Politics. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you again to everybody contributing to the show. It really means a lot. Thank you. See if I can get out of here without looking like an asshole now. Peace, guys. Love you. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can be an actual streamer and see if I can do this right. Do I have to be on Twitch to do it? To do an actual real raid? I got to be on Twitch, right? Let me see if I can get that up. See if I can be an actual streamer today. Do the right thing. Other people are kind enough to send people my way. I shall be kind to reciprocate to others in this media space to the best of my ability. Let me see if I can bring this up. My apologies. How do you do it, though? I got to go to... I'm such a boomer. I am such a fucking boomer. Create a dashboard, maybe? I'm a newbie. I'm not a big Twitcher. So give me a break. Let me see. I think it's down the bottom somewhere here. Moderation and a stream manager, maybe. Let's see if I can get into that. Remind me later on that one. Yeah, here it is. Raid channel. We're getting there. How do I do... Oh, wait, they're not even on Twitch, are they? Oh, my goodness. What an asshole. Not you, Rocks, me. What an asshole I am. Yeah. No, I still have not found out how to do it on YouTube. People have been telling me that there's a way to raid on YouTube, but I haven't figured that out yet. So again, my apologies. I was thinking that they were on Twitch, but anyways, go over and watch any of the independent creators that you want to watch. Because again, I advise you and implore you to support not only this channel, but other independent creators as well. So sorry on the getting the wires crossed on that one, Rox. I appreciate you. But yeah, check anybody out you want. Vanguard on YouTube, check them out. But yeah, I'll see if I can figure out how to do that later on. All right, I'm out. I appreciate it. Later, guys. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate you, Pops. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, thank you, Arizona Sunflowers. I appreciate that. Did I miss that? I'm sorry. Thank you, Boston Brian Forrest, keeping us up to date. We absolutely get the real news from you. Thank you, Arizona Sunflowers. I appreciate that. I really do. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Guys, head over to any other creators. Let them know Boston Brian sent you, please. Know that we are supportive of all other independent creators on here. Progressive, lefty creators that could specify. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I can do it on Twitch. Twitch I can do it on. I just haven't mastered the old YouTube. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dad. I love you, big guy. I appreciate you more than you ever know. Thank you, Mom, as well. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you, mods. Thanks, guys.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. God bless the United States. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated. Water coming here is dead.
There's no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist. But I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist. But I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
In the hell was that all about? Taking it back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses. He says wrecked him, damn near killed him. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. Yesterday's a hard word for me.
He builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers. We'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
If you
builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, we'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Get off my plane.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to
Venezuela. Did you just see Maduro? Venezuela. It's unbelievable.
The population in Thailand is 63 million people. It is twice the size of Wyoming. Its chief exports are textiles, footwear, and rice. Each year, approximately 13,000 people are killed in car accidents in Thailand.
Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Marsh, the Patreon, the lowest level on there is, I believe, is $5. The $5 level, and then on for YouTube memberships, I believe it's $2.99 for the month. That's cool, you guys. Please think about signing up. If you don't have the ability, the financial capabilities to sign up, don't sign up. I ask you guys, please, do not sign up. If you can afford it, if you're robbing somewhere else that, don't do it. Just do the free stuff, like, hit, subscribe. That does more than enough. More than enough to help this channel. You're not financially contribute to this channel. Do not contribute to this channel. Only I ask you. Thank you. It's so Bulgaria. I love it. Thank you guys. All right, I'll see you later. Let's go on the Tuesday show. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
The big, fat, sloppy United States. Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.